Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Want to talk more about the fire in Maui that destroyed the town of Lahaina, a very popular tourist town, and doing more research on it. The natives there had a long ongoing legal battle not giving up their land to the wealthy landowners there. But I want to go back to the year 1964. And again, 1964 to talk about what's just happened with Maui and Lahaina. And the reason why is this: Hawaii is going to turn 64 years old this month, August 21st, 2023. Of course, that age is in terms of being a U.S. state. Hawaii, the state, I should say. Again, Hawaii and its people are a lot longer than the United States, but as a state, it's going to turn 64 this month, August 21st, 2023. And in 1964, one of the more significant hurricanes that year was Hurricane Dora. Going back to the year 64, they're saying the winds of Dora caused this very powerful fire to spread so rapidly, causing the devastation that we saw and supposedly the more intense flames that melted metal. Again, this is becoming a really an unprecedented thing in recent years. These crazy fires that move so fast that seemingly kind of skip over Mother Nature in some parts, but destroy the man-made structures. And again, the reason this looks real curious to certain people is because those people are aware of Agenda 21 and 2030 and the plan to move populations to essentially, less rural environments, less places that want to be protected, and just moving more people into megacities, essentially. And again, part of the plan of Agenda 2030 is to eliminate all world poverty by 2030, which could be achieved in ways that are not nice. Like imagine if it was Adolf Hitler as we know it, his plan to eliminate poverty by 2030. What do you think that would look like? Anyway, 1964, Hurricane Dora, the same name of the hurricane that fanned the flames that took out Lahaina and did much damage in Maui in Hawaii. And also 1964, the piece that might sound silly right now, but it's really interesting. Again, this was brought to my attention by Amy at Crack Their Code, and I saw Decoding with Cody also covered on it, covered on this angle. And I had my eyebrow up, I'm like, I don't know, but I looked more into it. And again, this is mind blowing. In 1964, Pepsi, which is the biggest food company in North America right now, if you weren't aware of that, meaning it's bigger than governments, meaning it has the power to control governments. But Pepsi bought the Mountain Dew brand in 1964, and one of the more recent flavors they created is Maui Burst, and Maui is a fire god in Polynesian mythology. And what I've been educating about for years is the numerical patterns in these. We're talking about all the 64 connection. This happens right before Hawaii's 64th birthday. And what day did it happen on? 8 8. What's the square root of 64? 8. 8 times 8 is 64. 64 spaces on the chessboard. It's an 8 by 8 board. You know, the bomb scare that they all got the text message at 8:08 in the morning in the 808 area code that a major missile threat was inbound and they should seek cover. That happened January 13th, 2018. And you might recall that Marcus Mariota, who's from Hawaii, was playing for the NFL team that was going up against Tom Brady and the Boston or New England Patriots at that time. And in history, the USS Boston had landed on Hawaii in that day in history. Again, that's how big of a joke this stuff is. They had that NFL rigged outcome synced up with the bomb scare. And this is what we've been showing the whole time. Again, the things that actually own these companies and own our government and control the media and the way information's presented, it is a cabal. It is the Jesuit order, the same one whose calendar we're on, whose language we're essentially speaking, who've made this system that they continue to perform these jokes using day after day that are very sick. And again, if that sounds silly how those things come together, let me show you what gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, reveals. Remember, Mountain Dew, spelled D-E-W, Dew, D-E-W, that's the abbreviation for a directed energy weapon, which is something we've learned about through the media, our military's technological capabilities, essentially a thing that can create tremendous amounts of pressure and heat. And look at how this all comes together. But again, 64, right? Hawaii's turning 64. Hurricane Dora in 1964. Pepsi, the biggest food company in North America, bigger than just this country, bought Mountain Dew in 64. Pepsi, a monster. Supposedly, the founder of Pepsi is an Arizona State Sun Devil. I wonder if that could be part of the joke. We're in Leo, the time of the sun, this tremendous, the sun, a ball of fire. This happened on 8/8. The sun, the nearest star. They say all stars are balls of fire. 88 constellations in the zodiac. Remember, Daystar Peterson. Tory Lane's in trouble on 8/8 after being arrested a couple years back, 88 days from the shooting. And his name equals 88, and his last name's Peterson. And Daystar is mentioned in 2 Peters in the Bible. That's where it's mentioned, the Daystar. Daystar in Gematria equals 88, like how he got sentenced to prison on 8/8. Again, stars, fire, big rituals, bigger than just Maui, just bigger than just Tory Lanes and everything else that they had going on that day. But again, a cabal, the Jesuits who served the Catholic Church, the military order of the Catholic Church, again, orchestrating these things worldwide. And why do we look to the Jesuits? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but a big one is the first admitted act of weather warfare was August 15th, 1952, the Jesuit order's birthday. So anyway, coming back to this. Yeah, by the way, the Oppenheimer movie just came out about the maker of the technology, this great bomb technology. Uh, Hawaii's not too far from Japan. Hiroshima, August 6th. Nagasaki, August 9th. This in the same region of the world, and the dates in between that, August 8th. But if you guys don't know, just with regards to the term bikini, which you associate with the beach in a place like Hawaii, if you didn't know, the term bikini came from the islands where the nuclear testing was going on. And again, nukes, bombs, making things hot. What's hotter than a woman in a bikini? If you guys didn't know that, that's where that also comes from too. I'm always talking about Jesuit HBO. They have that recent show, The White Lotus, where the first season set at the Hawaii resort. And a big theme in that show is homosexuality. And again, we're going to get to how this all comes together. It's even biblical. Sodom and Gomorrah, Obama, the president that was the most favorable to homosexuals. I'm going to show you how sick of a joke this is and how the Jesuits have done all this from Mountain Dew to the Bible. And if you think that sounds dumb, just pay attention because, again, this is the type of stuff we're teaching about day after day. How the world is not what you thought it was. There is a cabal, an Illuminati that is literally making a mockery of us day after day by a code. Look at this. The word energy is 88, okay? Directed energy weapon. Look it up. It's a real thing. The military told us about these a while back. Again, they can create tremendous amounts of heat, fire. They can do all sorts of things. Energy, 88. This happens on 8/8. Maui gets hit with a blaze that consumes people who... I was watching interviews and people said, we were out in the ocean water within 5 minutes of getting the warning. And remember how they got the false scare or the false alert at 8:08? And then all these years later, they have this expensive alert system for tsunamis and natural weather phenomenon. And they didn't even get any alert. It's kind of where the mainstream media is keeping the story, how the electrical company really failed Maui. And they're not really taking the story beyond that. It's like, shouldn't more people be asking about how metal melted? How can that tree over there not be burned down, but that metal structure melted? Like, I feel like that's the story if you're a journalist. A natural fire that didn't burn the tree down, but burnt the building and melted the steel frame of the building? But okay, understand, I'm not blaming Jewish people. The reason Jewish is up here in 88 is I'm going to show you how this comes together. In the Jewish section of the Bible, the Old Testament, you have the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where God burns their place because of homosexuality, okay? Well, and some other things. Things that God did not like in the Bible, the biblical God. Now, notice August 8th leaves 145 days left in the year. Remember, the word Catholic equals 145, and there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant Old Testament. And if you use numerology, Catholic equals 46, like there's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. What I'm going to get to is how from the anniversary of the release of the soda, Mountain Dew Maui burst, the 46 connection with that, and how these numbers go with Catholic. If you're new here, gematria is very simple. It's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards, and forwards and backwards with numerology. By the way, I didn't even mention that Maui equals 64 in terms of those things that happened in 1964 and Hawaii turning 64. I meant to mention that with the other 64s, but I'll do that if you're new here. I'll forget to say things when I should, but I'll get to it and bring it together. You just got to stay focused. Anyhow, that Maui soda from Mountain Dew, DEW, like directed energy weapon, from the anniversary, or no, from the day it came out, October 16, 2019, to this fire, 199 weeks. That is the 46th prime number. Again, if you look into gematria, which comes from Kabbalah, in the study of gematria, it's about numbers within words, and it's also about the prime number relationships. Again, we didn't invent any of this. We took a system that existed and said, wait a minute, is this what they're doing in this nation? Because everything seems so numerical and ritualistic. And again, I've been looking at this since August 2013. I just heard them say on the news, this is the worst natural disaster in American history. I mean, I don't know if that's an exaggeration for the moment, but I've never been to Hawaii in all my life. I'm tempted to get on a plane to fly there right now for the first time just to see what this looks like with my own eyes. Anyway, Sodom and Gomorrah, right? God burns the place because of homosexuality. Again, HBO recently put out this big show focused on homosexuality at a nice resort in Hawaii. Again, Obama from Hawaii. This happened 4 days after Obama's birthday. Obama was born in 1961 in the time of JFK, the year JFK gave his speech about weather control and how it could benefit America. You know, no more drought. You know, get the weather we need for the crops when we need it. Next year, Lyndon Johnson, or not next year, but a few years later after JFK dies, Lyndon Johnson's given a speech about who controls the weather controls the world. Like I've seen for all of my life, whatever controls America is not what we're told it is in slave school. You know, it's something that exploits us. I'll tell you something funny that happened to me in my personal life today. Again, I have a company do my taxes each year for me, and so their name's on my IRS report. And by the way, I'm not happy that I'm paying taxes. By the way, I feel criminal about it because you're paying money to this organization that's playing the surveillance state. But I began having, I've had some problems and run-ins with the tax people in the past. So essentially to continue to exist, because that's the thing. I mean, people will say that they can get around not paying taxes forever, but the IRS can come crawl up your ass, and if they ever do, you'll find that you don't have a lot of leeway with them. You know, they're like bullies. But yeah, I just got a call from my accountant today, and they said it's a brand new IRS policy with all the new hirings, and they gave me all this paperwork to do, and it's just like busy work. And it's like, this is just annoying, you know? And if you don't comply, then by this date, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, God. But yeah, anyway, what they told me also is they said that if I need help with it, they'll try, but they'll say, I'm the first client of theirs to ever get this thing. And I'm like, well, go figure. You know, the guy who spends all of his time exposing how messed up our federal government is and what really controls it. And now for the accounting. And I imagine they have a bunch of other customers. They are well established in the town that I only moved to in 2018. They've been there for many years, but yeah, they said I'm the first customer to ever get that form. They said it is a pretty new form though, but go figure, I'm the first. Anyway, I'm not worried about it, but yeah, I see the game. All right, coming back to this again, Catholic Old Testament. There's 46 books. Protestant Old Testament, there's 39. So there's 7 more books than the Catholic, which is why there's 145 more chapters. Now, in the Protestant Old Testament, there's 929 chapters. Remember, in Jewish gematria, United States of America equals 929. And then there's an overlap with Old Testament and United States. But yeah, again, these are all things we've been looking at for years, and we've seen how cleverly it's all set up. JFK, the first Catholic president, killed at age 46. Joe Biden, as we predicted, would be elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday as number 46 in the 59th election, in light of how important 46 is to Catholic and 59 is to Pope Francis. and also John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated at age 46. Now, here's the other piece of this. Again, gematria, if you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers: the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. We just talked about where this fits in with Hawaii, this happening on 8/8, the day leaving 145 days left in the year. We just talked about where it fits in with the 199, come back up here to it, 199 weeks from the release of Maui Burst, Mountain Dew, which just happened to be the same year as all this other 64 stuff. But we just talked about the 145, the 46. From Hawaii's last birthday, August 21st, to this disaster was the 353rd day of the state's age. That's the 71st prime number. And as for the 35, I could speculate there. Right now, I don't see anything in that number specifically. But in terms of gematria, remember, JFK was the first Catholic president. Number 35, killed at age 46. And JFK's birthday is also the 149th day of the year, May 29th, which is the 35th prime. And he beat Nixon 305 days after Nixon's birthday. And it's like how Biden was inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age after being elected 46 weeks after his birthday. And yeah, just again, Hurricane Dora in 64, the year of Mountain Dew with Pepsi. And again, Pepsi established, both of those things in 64. And again, Hawaii's 64th birthday. But look at the Dora piece. Look how Dora and fire overlap. Dora and fire are 38, 70, 25. And recall, it wasn't that long ago. It was March 8th in Maui with the worst flooding in Maui in 25 years. And we had that date circled that year. It was a date with 52 numerology. Again, weather warfare has been admitted to since 52. But it was March 8th, right? 3/8. And notice from the day of that flooding, March 8th, 2021 to this fire was exactly 29 months later. And again, fire also has that gematria 29. Again, Maui is a Polynesian fire god. But just to go back, a dam on the Hawaiian island of Maui is in imminent danger of failure, and an evacuation order has been issued for residents downtown of Kapakalua, might be saying that wrong, Dam and Haiku. But that was March 8, 2021, date with 52 numerology. Flood is 52 forwards, going with the date numerology, 83 in reverse, like how the date March 8th can be written 8-3. Genesis 8-3 is where the biblical flood ends after 150 days. Again, flood and earth have that overlap gematria in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. The one where it's different is 29. Fire's 29, Earth's 29. This disaster, 29 months before this disaster. And again, worst in 25 years. They talked about the breach at 3:21 p.m. like a countdown. And that's how it is. It's like they're counting down. Day that happened, they had the next weather warfare ritual lined up. Again, the first act of weather warfare in 52 on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th. They sure it'll probably be the day of Trump's 4th indictment from the 4th state, where it's all 138s, and August 15th leaves 138 days left in the year. And I was just talking about Catholic in 71. Remember, in 2020, Trump's brother died on the Jesuit order's birthday at age 71. Donald Trump, Jesuit educated. But yeah, in mythology of Tahiti, Maui was a wise man or prophet. He was a priest, but was afterwards defied. Being at one time engaged at the marae, a sacred place, and the sun getting low while Maui's work was unfinished, he laid hold of the high or sun rays and stopped his course for some time. As the discoverer of fire, Maui was named another name that's hard to pronounce, because he taught the art of obtaining fire by friction of wood. Before this time, people ate their food raw. So he brought cooking to the table, and this town just got cooked. For the very, as we've been discussing a million times, Jesuit climate change agenda. Again, it all goes back to Agenda 21 and 2030 and the same repetitive dates. And yeah, if somebody wants to just recreate a short video of this on TikTok or a platform you might be on if you're sharing this information, if you just want to do the 64 thing and show Maui 64 in the can. It could be a short video, and then you want to do a follow up. You can emphasize directed energy weapons. Oh, hold on, I didn't even get to the point. Yeah, hold on. The directed energy weapon. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. Hurricane Dora has gematria of 216, like directed energy weapon is 216, like the Pepsi Cola company's 216. Again, one more time to be super redundant. Maui equals 64. Pepsi bought Mountain Dew in 64. Hurricane Dora was a significant storm in 64. And Hawaii is about to turn 64. And the square root of 64 is 8. And this happened on 8/8. 8 times 8, 64. Chess, games, playing games with us, playing games with an agenda. Remember, 9/11, whatever destroyed those towers and turned them to dust as they fell to the ground, it was very significant technology. And again, it was in Manhattan, where the Manhattan Project was to develop these sophisticated weapons and bombs. Just had the Oppenheimer movie come out again right before this thing happens to Hawaii, and Hawaii was secured for military purposes. We got Hawaii for military purposes. Pearl Harbor, before it was even a state. Another big Jesuit ritual. But look at this. Look at this. There's more. That Mountain Dew Maui burst. Again, it debuted October 16th, 2019. Let's get that back up here. Where do we have that at? Right here. Maui burst, October 16th, 2019. Only on the 16th in a 16-ounce can. And then it became an official product on February 1st, just months later in 2020. And from that day to August 8th is 183 weeks. Remember the huge 183 ritual they did with Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin meeting to discuss the threat of the Russia-Ukraine war before it happened on Pearl Harbor Day? And again, rumors of World War III when Pearl Harbor had to do with World War II, the last chapter. It was all about 183. And Vladimir Putin's name equals 183, like Pearl Harbor. And there's even more. But notice, if you drop the Pepsi Cola company's also 183, and so is the motto, order out of chaos. And with regards to chaos, it's also 46. From the debut of the product, 199 weeks, the 46th prime. From the official making it a permanent product to this, 183 weeks later. I mean, what are the odds of that? We've talked about these numbers with Hawaii and what they did really on that day, December 7th. Again, December 7th, 127. They called 9/11 the new Pearl Harbor. Buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell that day. And people are talking about how the photos out of Maui remind them of for people who know, but if you never saw the footage of what the cars look like around the World Trade Centers, they were all melted. It's like, wait a minute. Supposedly a plane hit that building, causing a fire inside the structure that made it fall down. How did it melt the cars out? And it melted the cars that weren't just right next to the building, but out even just like a couple blocks. So much heat. But again, the day of 9/11, there was a hurricane outside of New York City that never made landfall. Just like Dora, this major hurricane is outside of Maui, and that they're blaming that for the winds. You guys, if you have not looked into the Maui thing, I was just watching people who uploaded videos from Maui who've lived there, who explained how this weather phenomenon just did not make sense. And for a hurricane to bring fire when normally it brings a lot of rainfall and moisture, and fire like this that does this kind of devastation, they're just saying this doesn't make any sense. And, a lot of the people that I see uploading those videos, they look more native. And they've grown up with the family legacy of knowing what Hawaii was like before America was there and after America. And since America's been there, there's been a lot of military chaos. And again, I mean, you just think about it, you guys. Hawaii's this symbolic place. People travel there worldwide. The mainstream media wants you to think that this is weather warfare, unprecedented weather. Or not, excuse me, I take it back. They don't want you to think it's weather warfare. They want you to just think it's unprecedented weather because we need to do something drastic about climate change. And again, it's just like they want us to go along with things that sound right, like to solve problems that are presented to us in the media. We got to do this to stop the terrorism. We got to stop this to stop, the hate. We got to do this to stop this. We got to do this to stop the crazy weather. But you start looking at what all the solutions are every time from the authorities. It's about giving up more of our rights and liberties and giving them more power and control to solve all of our problems. And this has been going on for this pattern of operating and behavior between humanity and government has been going on for quite some time, especially in America. And you just realize as that time's gone on, things have gotten a lot worse and more unprecedented. And again, the reason I've been here for a decade straight, I've been talking about these exact type of topics. Again, for people who don't know, I got books, and I got a book right here that I wrote this thing. There's a chapter in here on weather warfare. I wrote it back in 2017 after years of looking at this. And again, I know that if I'm out on the street, I'm way simplifying this lesson, and I'm probably just sticking to the 64 thing. And talking about weather warfare on the street, though, is a hard thing to talk about with people who are sound asleep. It's crazy that people are so sound asleep to this idea. In the recent Chinese Olympics, they told us that China was modifying the weather to create the right environments for winter games. I mean, that was part of the mainstream narrative. That was in the mainstream headlines. China's weather modification to create snow. And again, if that's capable, what else is capable? Why was JFK talking about the future of weather control and how it can benefit us in 61? Again, the year Obama was born, and this comes 4 days after number 44's birthday, when 4 and 44, these military numbers connected to death and destruction. Again, the word military is 44, like kill, like soldier, like infantry, like trooper, like officer. 1944, the year we deployed all the troops for World War II, right after Pearl Harbor. 44 was the year we deployed the most troops in World War II. And you listen to that word soldier that has that gematria of 44, Sol, die, R. Sol, die, R. Sol is the sun, dying under the sun. R is the 18th letter. You got to be 18. If you're new here, sun also has that gematria 18. Again, all this tracing back, the calendar, the language. Okay, now moving on. Biden and Putin. Again, Biden and Putin meeting on Pearl Harbor Day. Russia with the nuclear threat. Russia, the U.S., the Cold War, right? The nuclear threat from Castro, the Jesuit. But the last scare at 808 in the 808 area code, this on 88, Russians got that gematria 88. I think I should have put it up there. I think Vladimir's 88 too, if I remember right. Is Vladimir 88? Let me check that. Vladimir Putin. I know his full name's 84, like Jesuit. He's been doing all his Jesuit rituals over there too. Vladimir Putin 84. Yeah, Vladimir 88. Russian 88. But yeah, just world history, acquiring Hawaii for war purposes, Hawaii part of the World War II storyline, World War III, an event yet to happen. Let's not forget that Albert Pike sent his letter about 3 world wars on August 15th, the Jesuit order's birthday, to Mussolini, who was the second leader of the Illuminati. The Illuminati was founded by the Jesuits, Adam Weishaupt. The day of, a lot of publications had it that the alert went out at 8:08. We had people calling into our live stream that day talking about it, that they got their alert at 8:08. Wikipedia has now changed the alert time to 8:07. And it's whatever. It's what Wikipedia does. 38 minutes and 13 seconds later, state officials blamed a miscommunication. Isn't it interesting that it was 38 minutes in light of the flood being on March 8th, the crazy flood, and in light of, again, this fire blamed on the winds of Dora. Fire in Dora 38. Took them 38 minutes to figure out that the alert was false. 38 minutes of the fear of death, when death, murder, killing, and RIP are 38. Again, Sandra Bullock and Ryan Gosling in Murder by Numbers. The Gosling from The Kinks just died on Ryan Gosling's 38th week of his age, while Sandra Bullock's lover's dead in the news. After the new Barbie movie about plastic people in a fake world. America loves it. They spent $1 trillion to watch the movie about the plastic Mattel toys. But yeah, let's not forget either what we've also covered about this. This really took over the news on August 9th. And you know what's interesting to think about that? The fact that on August 8th, this wasn't that big of a story, what was going on in Maui at this day and age, and they saved the news for the next day because this Maui fire started early in the morning. The crazy fire started pretty early in the day, and the media was largely silent on Maui on August 8th, and then made a huge deal about it on August 9th. And again, August 9th, the day leaving 144 days left in the year, like Jesuit order, like Ignatius of Loyola's quote, "Go forth and set the world on fire," which is 144. Okay. Let me check in with the chat. Do you guys have anything to add to what I'm saying? Is this making sense? Does this seem like a stretch? Or does this seem more like what we've been talking about for all these years? I'm just reading the chat real quick. Here, you know what? Before I open phone lines, we'll do a little bit of calls. Then I got to get back to business. But just here's things that Americans are equally as much following this story right now as Maui, if not more. And again, this is what's wrong with this world. Uh, Jessica Pagula had a big upset in tennis at the Canadian Open in a match where the match was interrupted by the song "Cotton Eye Joe." That this is the rival news story right now with Maui. If you have time to pay attention to any of it, since Barbie's in theaters, but look at this, you guys. Look at this. This happened on August 12th, right? That was the 29th anniversary of the song coming out. The song came out on August 12th by the Rednecks. Rednecks in Gematria equals 29. It happened on the 29th anniversary. But the girl who won the match on 12/8, like 128, Jessica Paluga, her name in Gematria is 128. Jessica Paluga, 128, wins at the Cotton Eye Joe interruption. And with regards to Cotton Eye Joe, this was between Canada and the US. And actually, I looked up the history of this. Before it was this pop song in the 90s, there's a more historical version of it that was a big song amongst Canadian and American culture. And again, this Jessica Paluga is an American tennis player in the Canadian Open. And again, 29-year anniversary of the song. It goes off in the tennis stadium. And that's what they're saying. They're saying of all songs to go off, like they don't even play that in the stadium. So why would that be queued up? But yeah, there's also a Cotton Eye Joe from back in the 1860s that was, played and listened to and sung between Canada and America. Historical thing. And then from her birthday, February 24th, she was born the year the pop song came out, 94, which was Joe Biden's big year. Joe Biden's biggest year in politics for coming president was 94. Got his crime bill that year, number of other things. Got through his counterterrorism legislation at the end. It was a process in 94, and it went into motion at the start of 95 on Governor Keating's birthday, right before the terrorism in his state, the Oklahoma City bombing, in the big Jesuit ritual that was blamed on CIA agent McVeigh. But anyway, notice from her birthday to this happening in Canada was also 24 weeks. Canada 24. It was 169 days. So 24 weeks in a day, 169 days. Square root of 169 is 13. Hey, USA. All the 13 rituals. The men went out in the World Cup in a big 13 ritual. Wasn't it 13 days after Joe Biden's birthday, if I remember correctly? But 13 stripes, 13 colonies, 13 years of slave school, K to 12. Jessica Pagula. Did I not put the screenshot up here? Again, Gematria is forwards and backwards. Jessica Pagula in reverse is 223. We've seen a lot of that number in 2023. But so is Canadian Open. Her name's the exact same as Canadian Open where this happened as well. And Yeah, she's got the What is 47, the Jesuit 79. Look how Joe Biden and Cotton Eye Joe are also 152. I know there's something to this. We got to think about it more because, again, the song was in 94. Again, that was Joe Biden's biggest year in politics, 94, before becoming president. Cotton Eye Joe, the other way, is 172, like in Marum Day Gloriam, 172, like the big legal ritual with Hunter Biden in 172, shortly after the story of him driving 172 miles per hour. This ritual also happened on Joe Biden's 266th day of his age. Jesus Hominum Salvator, in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, the 266th. So you got this Jesuit joke going on in tennis. You got what they've done to Maui. And again, the thing is, I mean, that like I don't like to live in fear, but that's the frightening thing about where we are in this game. You know, the next day their ritual comes up for a Maui. You know, it could be your nice little town right now that they don't want people to live in anymore, or they want to do something with the real estate or take over the real estate. And in the future meta world where people rarely go out of virtual reality, you can now visit the rebuilt Lahaina, 25 years after the tragedy. But man, does it cost a lot of money to visit Lahaina. Ooh, you want to go to Lahaina now in the post Agenda 2030 world? It is very expensive. And notice none of the people who own anything here now were ever from here. Because that was the big thing. A big part of that tourist land the natives were holding on to, and the fat cats didn't like that. Again, listen to everything people are saying from the community. They're just uploading. I was just going and trying to consume as much information about people who are in the area who have information talking. And again, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, but just listening, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. That stuff's easier for people to grasp than the weather warfare by the numbers, but people got to learn this too once they graduate, because this is what's going on. One joke after the next. And just to prepare you for tomorrow, August 15th, likely the date of the fourth indictment in the fourth state. You know, look how perfect it is. Yesterday on August 13th, 13/8, the whole focus in the media was what's going on in Coffee County with Trump and the coming fourth indictment in the fourth state. Coffee County 138 on 13/8. Now they're saying Fulton County's moving really fast today, and these indictment charges could be sooner than we expect. They almost made it seem like it could be as soon as today, but tomorrow's probably more likely. And again, tomorrow's the Jesuit Order's birthday. Tomorrow, August 15th, leaves 138 days left in the year. The only other day with a 138 connection is August 16th, because that's the first of those last 138 days of the year. But very likely August 15th, at the latest August 16th, we'll get this fourth indictment by the numbers against Donald Trump for his interference in a federal election, when we've been talking about Donald Trump and 138 rituals for many years now. I mean, it's 2023, and I got this in a book that I wrote in 2017. And now the same things are still going on. The exact same things. Trump, that magazine cover with Trump, the calm before the storm. Or that was Trump's weird thing that he said, right? The calm before the storm. And Trump's another big 88, But yeah, tomorrow, August 15th, the day leaving 138 days left in the year, the birthday of the Jesuit Order, established in Paris, France, home of the Climate Accords, August 15th, 1534. And with regards to 56, hurricanes got that Gematria 56, Dora. Climate change has that Gematria 56. Paris, France, 56, the home of the Jesuits, the home of the Climate Accords that Trump got out of. Remember? And the word Pope is 56. The Jesuits served the Pope. They're from Paris, France. Pope Francis is the first Jesuit Pope. Society of Jesus equals 56. A lot of Jesuits have the 56 connection. The coronavirus, again, it was simulated by a bunch of Jesuits at Event 201. And the pandemic was declared 56 years after Trump's Jesuit education began at Fordham, began in 64. Speaking of 64, began in 2020. And Trump waited till Friday the 13th to declare it for the nation, 2 days after the WHO did it. And Trump did it on March 13th, 2020, 3 plus 13 plus 20 plus 20, 56. And Bill Gates was still married to Melinda French Gates, and she turned 56 that year from a family of Jesuit priests. And Bill Gates stepped down from his Berkshire Hathaway board on that same day, March 13th. And Again, just the list goes on. Andrew Cuomo, the 56th governor of New York, the face of the governor of America for COVID, Jesuit educated at Fordham like Trump. Anthony Fauci, Jesuit from Holy Cross, 56 in Washington, D.C., the Jesuit stronghold. Anyway, this stuff's not an accident. There's a reason that these number patterns fit and the history fits. We see all the rituals they do with the Jesuits in 56, and they keep doing them. And it's not just the numbers and the words, it's everything. It's the history of the language, the calendar, all goes back to the 16th century, the century of the Jesuits, just like how that Mountain Dew came out on the 16th and you had to get it in a 16-ounce can at the beginning. Again, the Jesuits like that 16. If you ever see SJ next to somebody's name, you see how it's 16? That means they're a member of the Jesuits. Some Jesuits publicly put the SJ next to their name. But yeah, also about 56 in Paris and climate and all this stuff. Ignatius of Loyola, who founded the Jesuits from Paris, died in 1556. And there's more to that as well. Died 84 days before his birthday, and Jesuits 84. So that could show too. If he had different intentions for the order than what it ended up being, it might have been hijacked at that point. I mean, that's the thing about all this. You just have to look at the historical narrative, where it came from, where it's going, and yeah. Okay. Shout out to John Mendoza. I appreciate it, John. And shout out to congrats to the winners. Yeah, Kanye with the 808 Heartbreak. HBO just put up on their show platform a show about the divorce of Kanye and Kim. I was like, come on, man. It's sad the stuff people want to watch. You want to watch the divorce of Kanye and Kim only on HBO. I think it might have been on another network, but anyway, I noticed they got that there. Oh, by the way, I talked about the death of the 50-year-old rapper Magoo right after the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and we speculated before it even happened. The kill date was August 13th, 50th hip hop anniversary. A lot of dead rappers over the years by the numerical code. Sure enough, on the kill date, a rapper dead at 50. But in that stream, somebody asked to decode Clarence Avant's death, and we did it in real time. And I made a point about how in the image, TMZ, how they got him with Puff Daddy and Jay-Z, or whatever you want to call him, Diddy. And remember, Diddy, he explained a while back that, rappers got a numerical code behind their name. He did that in a live stream. He put that out there. I think he was doing a live stream with Drake. But anyway, you got Jay-Z and Diddy. And again, a lot of people heard Jay-Z for the first time on the No Way Out album, Diddy's album after the death of Biggie. And Jay-Z's talking about the New World Order and all that. Well, anyhow, check this out. Check this out, you guys. This man, we talked about how he opened his first label in 67, 56 years ago, and his second label in 69, 54 years ago. The second label was Sussex Records, 54, right? The Black Godfather opened that label 54 years ago, died on a Sunday. Sunday. The Catholic Church, the Jesuits, the Sun Cult, their logo's the sun. Jesuit Order 54, Sun 54. Well, look at how old Jay-Z and Puff Daddy turned this year. And remember, when Kobe died, he died on, Kobe's death was synced up with Beyonce's Grammy, and it went all the way back to their Bugaboo video, and now she's with Jay-Z, and Kobe died the Sunday before Super Bowl 54 on Jay-Z's 54th day of his age, and Kobe being Bryant's 54. But look at this. Jay-Z, he's going to turn 54 this year on December 4th, the anniversary of the Fred Hampton murder in Chicago. Known for gun violence, shot to death. Recently, we just had the federal government ban ghost guns with a 5-4 decision on the day of the death of DJ Casper out of Chicago, associated with gun violence. DJ Casper's dead, ghost guns banned. But Jay-Z's going to turn 54, and I guess Diddy's the name now. Diddy's going to turn 54th on November 4th. 54. Both 54. TMZ's got the Clarence Avant, right near the beginning of the article, him pictured with both these men who turned 54 this year as he's dying 54. And remember, Elvis, who recorded with Sun Record Studios, His first concert in 54. This year, the awards ceremony at the Golden Globes. Remember, Golden Globes is 54, right? Golden Globes 54. What is a Golden Globe? Isn't that a sun? In alchemy, the sun is gold. A Golden Globe, the sun. Elvis actor wins Best Actor. And then his daughter dies at 54, just right after. Golden Globes, Sun Records Studios. It was all synced up with Tom Hanks and everybody who had everything to do with that movie. There was a lot to it, but 54. Now here we go again. What comedian was I just talking about who just died recently, 54 months after his son? Son was like a basketball player. And maybe I got it wrong, but I think he was a comedian. We just talked about this recently. And again, the only physical, and what I'm talking about, the two entertainers, father and son, who died 54 months apart. Again, both black men. In the Bible, the one physical description left of Jesus is that of a man with darker skin and hair that's described white like wool. It's supposed to be Jesus as an old man, but like wool. I mean, that stands out with the dark skin like wool. Man, that's got to be at least Middle Eastern of some kind. But again, that sounds, when I say hair like wool, man, I'm thinking of people of African descent. And again, you just see it over and over. All the rituals with the black men paying tribute to the Jesus numbers, the sun numbers, this on a Sunday. I mean, come on. I noticed he died 83 days before Diddy's birthday. Murder 83, the song Murder by Numbers in 83. We talked about everything else and dying 88 weeks after his wife, and the Black Godfather equals 88, like his wife's name. First record label in 67. Record label in Gematria equals 67, and the movie about him was put out on 6/7. Like gangster, like Jesuit. Again, gangsters, Godfather. Notice how Godfather has the same Gematria as Jesuit, if you didn't know that. Godfather, 84. It's also 42. He was 42 years old when hip-hop was born. He's dead right after the 50th anniversary, but Godfather, 84, like Jesuit. Godfather's also 159, like Black Man. We're talking about the ritualistic use of the 159 Black Man code. And a part of me wonders about that too with the New Testament thing, because New Testament's 159. We talked about what they just did in Montgomery the day after Trump was there on 8/4. The next day you got the brawl in Montgomery on the 159th anniversary of the riverboat battle in the Civil War on that same day. But yeah, all this stuff, man. Again, I wish the people who left the long comments about how it's bullshit, how I just tie everything to the Jesuits, I wish you guys would come on and debate how it's bullshit. I think the problem is you think it's too mind-blowing and you don't think they have this kind of capability. But again, this is a network that is worldwide, that's been worldwide for longer than America's existed. The Catholic Church is everywhere. They have infinite resources in their coffers. I mean, the Vatican's an independent city-state with its own central bank. They have the capability to print anybody's currency. You know what I mean? You could fund the most nefarious thing there ever was. You essentially got infinite resources and clout worldwide. You're the Catholic Church. Plus, a lot of people recognize Jesuitism as good because their universities and their schools are very good. And again, I mean, if you go to a Jesuit school, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Honestly, it's very expensive, and well, I guess the problem is you're giving money to this network. But again, if you got into a Jesuit school, they're tough to get into. They do a good job with education, but again, it's obvious that within that network, they recruit the right types of people, like the Gavin Newsoms. Remember Gavin Newsom, Mr. 56, Mr. Jesuit, Mr. Santa Clara. He said 56% of California would get coronavirus in 8 weeks, so he was locking down the state. 56% in 8 weeks. When 8 weeks is 56 days, going with his name. Going with this Jesuit affiliates and all their other rituals. First case in Seattle with little Jesuit volunteer Jenny Durkin, the 56th mayor of the city. In King County, when Corona means crown, and Seattle has the biggest needle. We talked about that too, right? How that one's 56. Remember Event 201? The simulation, Easy-E, lethal injection, dead 201 days after his birthday on 26/3, where 263 is the 56th prime. Like the 3 planes that hit targets on 9/11, 11, 77, and 175 or 263. Two towers became zero, became one. 201, the Jesuit order, the first Jesuit pope in Suite 201. But yeah, I mean, isn't this? I mean, you just see it. I mean, just even equating with Godfather, just how they got Tony. Remember what they did to Tony Soprano on the 99th day of Pope Francis being the first Jesuit pope? Tony Soprano died, and Sopranos equals 99, and it came out on HBO in 1999. Tony Soprano dies in Italy on the Pope's 99th day of being Pope. Come on. Soprano's also 36, like the Pope, born in 36, 45, like IHS. Frank Vincent dies synced up with the man who portrayed Tony Soprano. James Gandolfini, his name was escaping my mind. Oh, by the way, 56, huge with Black Lives Matter rituals. Black Lives Matter is 56. The Black Godfather born on the 56th day of the year. His wife's name also 56. Again, his first record label established 56 years ago. Yeah, I think it's gonna be, when those darker winter months come, the deaths pick up too. I think Jay-Z and Diddy turning 54, you know, all collaborating artists who made a decent amount of money, man, be careful. In that song where Jay-Z made his introduction where he talks about the New World Order, he also he says he told Big that he would be number one before he dies. And at this day and age, a lot of people try to make it seem like Jay-Z's the greatest rapper there ever was. And again, that's got to be something they're trying to market to younger people who don't know any better, because there's just no way that's the case. He didn't make hip hop like a huge thing, like a lot of rappers from the same city he's from did before he did it. I mean, that's what makes you a legend, when you made the thing the thing. Jay-Z's not that guy. So for him to be, thought of as the greatest, it's not the way those kind of legacies work. And Jay-Z's doing the whole Gematria thing too, like his 444 album, whole 444 thing. I'll show you what's behind that. Sumerian Gematria is where you get big numbers like 444. Notice how rapper is 444 in Sumerian Gematria, and that's because if you just use the alphabetic order, rapper is 74. Rapper 74, but Sumerian Gematria is multiplying the alphabetic order times 6. So anything that's 74 the normal way is 444 in Sumerian. And, it goes with things like Machiavelli. And what's crazy is the beginning of that Machiavelli album. Jay-Z wasn't famous when that came out. That came out, remember the 5th of November, 96, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. And again, important day to the Jesuits. Tupac's on the cross on that album cover. To play on Machiavelli. When his mom was announced dead, it was the year Prince died. And Machiavelli wrote The Prince. And again, his mom was announced dead on the real Machiavelli's birthday. And again, The Prince was based on Caesar Borgia, and Tupac died on Caesar Borgia's birthday. But, rapper, Machiavelli, they're both 74. Killing is 74. 3 of the first 5 presidents dead on 7-4. The 74th day of the year to remember the stabbing of Caesar. Stabbing has that 74. And again, just special number. Occult is 74. English is 74. Gematria is 74. Occult means hidden. Look at what's hidden right in the English language. A number code. Holiday 74. This nation's birthday 74. Masonic. A lot of the founders, Masons. Modern Freemasonry, a Jesuit creation. Jesuits are the Society of Jesus. Jesus 74. Like cross. Like Messiah. Like gospel. Like parables. Again, going with Tupac on the cross on the big Jesuit day. And there's more to it as well. His mom was in the Black Panther Party. The numerology way, Black Panther Party 74. And all the original Black Panther meetings were in Catholic churches in the Bay Area, named after St. Francis of Assisi, who created the Franciscans, which are the predecessor to the Jesuits. Now you have Pope Francis, named after St. Francis of Assisi, the first Jesuit pope. Remember, you just had the assassination in Latin America, in Ecuador, established 46 years after the U.S. on the day of an assassination scare at Joe Biden's house, number 46. New World Order, Jay-Z, again on that song, back in the 90s. They're not ready for this New World Order. nobody even heard of Jay-Z until that album came out at the end of 97 for the most part. And Tupac was talking about Jay-Z in the opening track. So, I mean, to me, what that reveals is, again, just like what we've, I guess doesn't reveal, but just further confirms what we've been saying, just like how things are inserted in albums, part of an ongoing storyline, predictive programming. It made sense to be in that album that Tupac's talking about Nas and Biggie and other rappers who people know their name. Maybe in New York, people didn't know Jay-Z's name, but most people didn't hear about Jay-Z until, again, he was featured on the Diddy album after Biggie's death in 97. But yeah, maybe listen to that song from a young G's perspective, like G and Freemasonry, like secret societies. A lot of prophesizing in that video, but Jay-Z again has the line, people aren't ready for this new world order. And that was a thing in the mid-90s with hip-hop. New world order, Illuminati, Goody Mob, Cell Therapy. That song to me is like, again, you look at that song, listen to me now, believe me later on. I mean, I think we're getting there. Listen to that song and read the lyrics. So, anyhow. I will take a few calls. We'll do like, and again, try to be efficient with your call. If you're calling from Hawaii and you have information, that's the calls I'd really like to hear. If you're actually in Hawaii, you're watching this stream, and you can tell us more about, the speed of the fire, what you know, what you witnessed. If you guys want to call in, the number's 509-560-4982. And I'll also drop a link in the live stream chat. You can also join the stream that way by clicking, and then you only have to share your microphone, but you're welcome to share your camera if you want to be on screen as well. I just realized the message that was up on the screen. I didn't mean to have that up there. Okay, let me get this link in there. That's interesting. Thank you very much, Nathan. I appreciate that. But yeah, okay. So the link's in the chat if you want to join that way, and the number I just posted in the chat as well. And sorry, I just missed a call from 732. If you want to call back, I didn't pick up in time. But yeah. Let's see if we have any on the ground observations. Is there anyone in the 808 area code? And if not, we can let some other people call in who might have some information. Where is the like button on the stream? I don't know. It should be there, right? All right. Let's see. 772.
Hey, Zach, what's up? I wanted to talk a little bit about the weather control and like basically how they can start these fires. There's a video that I have. It doesn't talk about fire specifically, but I have a video called How They Really Control the Weather, where I go through, I think that you had watched it. I went through like a bunch of old documents from the government that they talked about how they were controlling the weather back in like the 60s, 70s, 80s. And like it's the actual government documents. But there's something called thermite. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, and this is probably what they used on September.
Yeah, thermite's what everyone says for 9/11. That's how I can tell you're a young guy. You know everybody knows thermite 9/11. Almost everyone who knows that word knows of it from looking into 9/11.
Yeah, so one of the things that they can do is put magnesium. Magnesium is a really easily ignitable metal, and it burns extremely hot, like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 degrees. And those cars melted. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They can. I saw a video of Canada that it was a helicopter dropping this like dripping flaming stuff that was probably thermite or thermate. Thermate is the military version of thermite, where they put in an oxidizer into the thermite, and it makes it burn hotter and faster. But something else that they could do, I remember reading this old government document from the 70s where the Russians had created 100,000 watts. So they have very powerful lasers, and but probably people would see the lasers. But there's something most people probably haven't heard of. It's called an infrared laser. They also have an ultraviolet laser, so they're pretty much invisible to the eye, but they're extremely hot and they carry like a huge amount of energy. And I mean, it would be pretty easy to mount a very powerful infrared or ultraviolet laser onto a plane and shoot it down like onto flammable stuff, and that could cause a lot of damage. Usually another thing that they usually do is like to prime the place for being for getting set on fire. Everything can be set on fire easier. Is usually like they create a drought, because we know that they can disperse rain clouds and stuff. And I think that I had actually, inside my video, I talked about how they disperse rain clouds, create tornadoes, lots of stuff. Because I mean, I'm in Florida and like we get hurricanes a lot. Hurricanes never bring fire. That's pretty much never happened before. And I mean, there's really no other explanation for that other than weather warfare, because hurricanes bring water and like salt water and stuff. They don't bring fire. That's literally never happened before. So yeah, I mean, that's clearly weather control. Is there one thing that I can say that's not about the weather control, and then I'll wrap it up?
Well, I'd like to keep it to the weather control. Is it relevant at all?
No.
Yeah, let's get some other people get in. All right, appreciate all the information. I got your channel up there if people want to check it out. His video, you guys, how they actually control the weather. I have seen that. That's a good video.
Okay, thanks.
All right, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, take care.
Okay, bye.
All right, a gentleman just hopped in the room. I was going to bring him on, but then he hopped out before I could even get him on here. Okay, thank you very much, Don. Don says, what are your thoughts on Police Chief John Pelletier repeating 89? Hold on, I'm going to finish that, but let me get this call too. The word chaos is 89. That's probably what it is. Again, it's this chaos code. 8816. Hello.
Yo, Zach, I had some observations about that weather control shit.
Okay.
I've been trying to tell my homies and shit about it. I don't know if you remember me, but I called into your show a couple of times. You might not remember me, but I've been telling my friends about this shit. It's just, and they've been playing me like I've been crazy or some shit like that. Like I've been telling them like climate control is a real thing and the weather is controlled, but I don't know. They just act like they don't believe me. So you got anything that I can say to them that'll like make them like believe me or just look into it or something like that?
Are you talking about Maui specifically, or things that usually appeal to people are things that are closer to home? What city are you in?
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri. Well, I know we've talked about some things that have happened in Kansas City, but I'd go back and look at examples of things that took place in Kansas City, or, the Super Bowl is still fresh. I mean, have you showed them what they're doing with the NFL and the death of Len Dawson and how that was perfectly synced with the Super Bowl?
Yep, I told them all that, literally, when I tell you, not to get off topic, when it comes to the weather, the everything was synced up. Like, I was just trying to tell them about the shit with Martin Luther King, Michael Jordan, all that. I don't know, motherfuckers don't believe me. I'll just be like, damn.
Well, you know what? Because you planted all these seeds, just watch. When the next big name drops, and it's going to happen because it always does, your friends, that they might be like, wait a minute, what do you say about that? Because that's the way it is. That's why you got to stay persistent with the information. Like those of us who see it, we got to stay persistent because it does get aggravating that we're all in the same situation. It's like you tell a lot of people and they just like shrug their shoulders or act like it couldn't be, but they got to see that it is because it is.
Yeah, because I was like, even a couple of my boys, when I was telling them about the Rock Yard situation, I'm like, bro, anybody that got shot in their head, bro, I'm like, they would have some type of patch or bandage on their shit.
Hey, friend, you can call back in, but we're getting a call from Hawaii. I want to take this call, but please do call back in. But yeah, stay persistent. Thank you for trying to spread the knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. 808. 808, you got to mute your video.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
808. Oh shit! Do I gotta mute you?
You gotta mute the
Okay,
video.
Roger.
I'll wait for you. You'll figure it out.
Roger, got it. Yeah. So, I mean, anyway, I've been on here for a few years, man. I see you're on it. I've been on here for like 30 myself. I just talked to a friend yesterday about the fires. I'm on the next island over, Big Island, yeah. And he's got a friend over there, owns a water truck company. That he heard about the fires, loaded everything up, went out there, put out a bunch of fires. His house was completely not even around anything. Came back, his house burnt down. But he talked to a bunch of local people who said right before everything happened, however it happened, I'd probably dues, right? That's what it looks like to me. But right before it happened, everybody's cell phones went out. Which you're thinking, what, EMP, something of this nature, yeah?
No way to
Tell me what are your
communicate.
thoughts on that?
No way to communicate.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's why everyone was literally jumping in the water. They had no warning, no nothing. And of course, they're complaining about it. People don't understand these kind of things. You know, there was no time for warning, or it was shut down. It wasn't even possible. Yeah.
This is why. Go ahead. Sorry, but I'm just saying this is why people got to start spreading the information, because I mean, another place can be the next Maui. It's terrible this just happened, but this is where we are. Psychopaths have the keys to intense technology. Go ahead.
Absolutely. No, I immediately thought, and I told my my Hanai here, man, Hanai Ohana, my local family, where I stay, and we both agreed. I said, man, them cars reminded me of Paradise, California footage, right? Paradise.
Exactly.
Right? I'm sure you can run the numbers on that. Some kind of connection there.
Well, no. Well, think about it. Hold on. Paradise.
And when you got 10 feet away, you got trees that aren't even burned.
Remember, Paradise, California, and Los Angeles, California, in Gematria both equal 118, and they burned on November 8th, 118, and that number is connected to death and homicide. But what was front and center on August 11th all day in the news is what exactly had happened to Lahaina, how devastated it was on August 11th, another 11/8 date. And as I've talked about many times, August 11th is the anniversary of the HARP patent being established in 1987. And again, HARP's the military technology that has the ability to influence weather and create a tremendous amount of energy.
Absolutely.
So
I've seen just last year, and I've, you know, when you dive into the rabbit hole, man, as long as you see everything. Like I'm sure, you know. And so, I mean, parked last year, so I'm on the Kona side, yeah. Everything, the mountain blocks everything. Any storm comes, that's why the billionaires are over here, because it's always safe, yeah. So we get a storm that comes off. There was fires burning in Waikoloa, North Island, where it's windy, closest to Maui by the channel there. And after about 4 or 5 days, and some properties getting threatened, there was a lot of big bucks up there. There's a NOAA ship, not a tourist ship. There's 3 or 4 tourist ships a week parked in the bay here. A NOAA ship parked in there. And I'm telling everybody, I'm like, here comes the rain. Here comes the storm. Inland, completely opposite how it did. So no surprise. On the HARP situation, I've talked to, when I first got here, I was involved with the freedom movement. And I've since seen them. I've seen them when the COVID started. They're still banging their drums and singing songs, you know what I mean? But I got in touch with a guy, secondhand information. And anyways, he cuts the Elite trails, right? The Elite was a royalty. So it takes them 1 year on foot to go the whole Big Island and cut all the trails. He's saying, he goes, I know, because I've seen the HARP installation on top of the mountain nobody knows about, right? They have rapid ohia death here. Now they have some fucking coconut beetle that came out of nowhere that's eating the coconut. You know what I mean?
Okay, hold on.
Just 2 years ago.
What you just said about the mountain, again, Mountain Dew, Mountain Direct Energy Weapon. You're saying there's a HARP on top of one of the mountains there.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. Ooh, I lost you.
No, I'm listening. It's just, it's sad that that we live in this messed up of a world and this is going on.
Yeah, but that's it. The awareness of it, once we create it, you know what I mean, with our minds, just awareness, like you say, man. I mean, since COVID started, I'll tell you how I got to this island, man. I'm studying the legal system, and they don't like it when you prove it to them that they're full of shit, right?
Sure.
So they threw me in a cage. I'm like, all right, I got connects over here. I know where I'm going. I get out, and I had about 6 months to hang out for a minute. Vancouver, Washington, by the way, yeah? Cool boy. And where you at? Spokane, yeah?
I'm like between Vancouver and Spokane.
Gotcha. Anyway, man, that's how I was like, ooh, tuned in. Anyway, talking my tinfoil hat story. I remember this was on Easter back home. I already knew that I was bugging. Had some money stacked up. I was just going to cruise till it ran out. And this was going to be one of my stops. So I have an uncle who's 30 years military intelligence. Never talked to the man. All I knew that growing up on my dad's side of the family, you go to parties, she's always in his uniform. Just came in from somewhere. He's so smart, he's not sociable, which is almost how he is. Anyway, so here we are on Easter, and I'm talking my stuff, and he pulls me aside, 3 or 4 beers deep, and shit, I'm stoked. I'm going to talk to my uncle for the first time. He leans in, he goes, I can confirm about 75 to 80% of the things that you're talking about. The other 20%, I don't know, you seem well researched. He goes, I will tell you this. All of my friends who are still inside that briefed me told me to take my family and get out of the country within the next 4 to 5 years. And he goes, Big Island is a good place. You got food, you got water. People are used to living off grid. No one's going to freak out like the cities. Get yourself a bicycle, blah, 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 right? And the fucking, when they announced it, right, in the U.S. was within 2 weeks of that 4 to 5 year window. Anyways, a little bit of background how I got here, man. But yeah, it's all going down, yeah. And I've been telling everybody here, when it first started, everyone's laughing at me. I didn't know how fast it's coming. Took my money out of the bank, started a garden, just blah blah blah. And then so the 2 weeks, first 2 weeks, another month goes by. Come on. The next one hits. Well, wait a second, what's going on? I said, this is an arrow in flight, man. It ain't going to stop until we push back. That's it, right? And the knowledge is the fucking power. So here 3 years later, finally sitting at a barbecue with the boys here a couple months ago, and one friend's like, pretty much everything fucking dude said is unfolding because they tell us when you look, yeah? So it's, I was famous here, man. I was the only guy in fucking town that did not wear a mask. I lost 30 fucking pounds. I'd eat on the side of the road. Someone's got goat. Someone's got, grandma's got freaking vegetables, whatever, man. But screaming matches, pressing rights. I had to in construction. So Lowe's, Home Depot, there's an HPM, which is a privately distributor here. I pressed them in there, and screaming matches. We can't lose this one, And it's funny, you watch them break down. You find like the manager, and you're screaming, well, it's up to you. You're absolutely right. It is. It's up to you too. So yeah. So as they say here, it's our kuleana, yeah, responsibility. That's why we're all here, I think, to get her done, man. And I've been watching you for a few years now. On it, brother. On it, man. Thank you, bro.
You're welcome. I appreciate you weighing in and sharing all your information with us. Thank you very much.
Right on, bro. Aloha.
All right. Yeah. Take care. Aloha. So a guy went to help out with the fire, and when he got back home, his place was burnt down. Totally shocked because the fire was nowhere near his house. Let's see. We got somebody from No Caller ID. No Caller ID. They hung up. Maybe No Caller ID is trying to clog up the line. Let's see. No Caller ID. Hello? They're just going to call in and hang up. This is what was happening in the past when we were trying to do live streams. We just have no caller ID, just keep hogging up the line. Yeah, that's true, Chili. Chili's absolutely right. That should have been on there at the beginning. No caller ID is clogging up the line, so it's going to be hard to get anybody else to call in. I'm sure the feds don't like that we might get somebody on the ground to share some information. Got to make it seem like nobody's watching the channel and the video is only going to get 3,000 views. By the way, for people who are new here, this channel used to get a lot of views before it was deleted 20 sometimes, and Jesuit Big Tech screwed everything up with their algorithms. But let me see. Yeah. The person who said weapon 88 is exactly right in light of this happening on 8/8 and the 808. Okay. Oh, somebody beat no caller ID. Well done, 419. 419, you're on.
Hey.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking, observing, thinking. I follow so many channels. Yours, Archaic, I just followed Square Peg. She does some kind of weird system with, I think she calls it isometric. I don't know. I just started following, so this is where I'm at. So I put in, you know, in the chat that there was back United Nations. So back when COVID was happening, there was these island people. They were talking about we will rise again. I couldn't find it on YouTube, but it's on BitChute. So somebody sent me that video and I posted it in the chat. So like these island people are talking about we will rise again. You know, we will rise again. So anyways, so as I was like, this is crazy. You know, like island people. Well, island people are Hawaiians. Those are the island people. So, but anyways, when I was looking at, you know, this whole situation, it has a 60. Okay, so, you know, Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire.
Right.
I fell into the Ring of Fire. Did you see that video? There was that Ring of Fire.
Sure.
So, okay, we're at 2023. So if you go back, you know, 60 years, it's 1963 when Johnny Cash Ring of Fire song came out.
Okay.
If you go back 60 years prior, there was another like great fire happening all over. And that was 1943. If you go 60 years prior, it was Iceland. There was an island fire. So it all right. So with these other channels I'm following, not only yours, I love your channel. That's why I think y'all need to collaborate together. Like you, Archaic, and Square Peg. Y'all have great information. And we can tie this shit in together.
Well, have you seen all the work I've been doing on 60 lately?
Years.
Have you seen all the work I've been doing on 60? Again, the day that this news was front and center in America or in the U.S., in the mainland, August 9th, 2023 date was 60 numerology and Pearl Harbor's 60 and Order 60. It's like, yeah, they operate by a numerical order. That's why the patterns are so perfect. So.
Right. But then we have to see, okay, so we see these patterns. So then you have to go into the half. So, you know, Nikola Tesla said to, you know, whatever, what did he say? To know the universe, it's like the 369. So 369, that's 30, 60, 90. So if we're going back and looking at history, if we see, you know, between 30, 60, and 90, we're going to see the pattern. We're going to see the universe. We're going to see how it's operating. Like all the shit you've been saying for so long, you know, on these patterns. So like you and Archaics, and now I just got, you know, connected with this Square Peg chick that's doing this isometric. Like I said, I cannot remember. I just started following her the other day. And, you know, like I'm binge watching this shit. I've seen patterns for so long. And I'm like, holy shit. But, you know, everybody's like, oh, it's just a coincidence. Like you said, you know, on your channel for so fucking long. Everybody's like, oh, that's just a coincidence. I'm like, how many fucking coincidences do you need?
Sure.
So, you know, like this is 369, 30, 60, 90.
So I just, people keep calling in and recommending, hold on. The other channels you're recommending, like, does their research lead anywhere? Do they ever point out who's doing this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, like who does Archaics point out is doing it?
Yeah, they're pretty much on what you're talking about.
Are they talking about the Jesuits?
The Jesuits, you know, all the shit. That's what I'm saying. You need to get with Archaics. It's Jason Bashir's. He's got a shit ton of, you know, stuff. You know, he was in prison. He started fucking reading all these old texts and shit in these books. This other chick, I just started learning about her, but she's movies, just like what you're talking about. You're talking about like the scripts. So between, you know, sports, these movies, they're like giving some kind of weird ass fucking clues. So we're trying to connect these dots.
Yeah.
And these other people are connecting the dots too. So that is awesome. I really hope y'all can collaborate together, because I can see this just expanding. And we catch these motherfuckers, like something is going to happen. Something has to give. I'm not giving hope. I'm not giving up on hope on humanity and people coming, to this awakening.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, in this position. So,
okay. It's just people keep calling in and recommending these channels, and I'll watch their videos, and it seems like they don't really talk about who's doing anything. It's a lot of speculation and going way back in the past. And again, what I'm doing over here every day is proving my point in spades with a very mathematical system that the cabal, which is the Jesuits, clearly uses. And I don't really see anyone helping get out the word on that. And again, I just feel like a lot of other people, they're long in the tooth. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, yeah, I feel like they should be talking about this work. And I've reached out to some of these people. They never get back. It's just, again, people keep calling in and recommending the same channels, and I've checked it out, and I'm like, I'm not sure that these channels are really about changing anything. So that's maybe I haven't seen enough. Again, I just feel like instead of collaborating at this point, it's like, you guys just start sharing the information that I'm sharing each day. It actually proves what's going on, not speculating on, did aliens do this 400 years ago? I mean, so that's what I've seen when I've checked into archaics. It's just, to me, it's like, I don't got time for that. There's a serious agenda going on in the world. It's the Jesuits. Here's how they do it every day. I don't see anybody else helping get out that message, but thank you anyway.
And as for me, as an outsider, following all these people, like I'm like your mom. I'm a cleaning lady. I have my own cleaning business. So, I am blessed to be able to listen and to learn from all of y'all that are putting yourselves out there in this YouTube.
Sure. But again, I'm just going to make the point. Some people's information's not getting to the point of who's doing it and why. And maybe I just haven't seen enough. But people keep calling in and recommending that channel. I almost feel like it's promotion for that channel. Like, I don't see anybody ever calling into anybody else's live stream and recommending my channel. It's just like, and I'm not speculating on this could have been aliens 400 years ago. I'm showing every day what's going on. Anyway, I appreciate the call. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day. Yeah, I get suspicious of everyone calling in, just like, it just seemed like really the point of that call was just promote other channels. And I'm not sure about those other channels. There's just too many people calling in with the same call. Let's talk about what we're putting out here. The real problem is that these other channels aren't talking about what we're talking about. Like I said, Archaics is speculating on aliens 400 years ago. I'm not worried about all that. I'm worried about the Jesuits controlling this nation, how fucked up it is, how they use our military, how they'll burn up a place like Maui. Where will they burn up next? They burn up other places. They've created all kinds of crazy shit. This is the message over here. I wish more people would work and collaborate and share, but I'm just like, I tune in these channels because I keep getting calls like that, and I don't hear anything that's helping solve anything. So anyway, what's up, Joey?
Yo, I had to chime in with the last caller bringing up the channel Archaic. I coincidentally recently just heard of this channel because my uncle told me about it, and so I checked it out, and he doesn't lead people anywhere. It's just nothing but shit. The guy has to be a shill because his YouTube hashtag is 138. His email is 138, and just I have this.
There's a song called "We Are the 138." If people want to look that up, popular band did that song. But I mean, he could say that he did it because he likes that song. Who knows?
Yeah, well, Master Mason's 138, and just his address where he tells people to send stuff. It's at Willis, Texas, and of course, Willis, Texas.
I don't want to do this. This is not it's just, I don't want to decode other people. It's just not productive use. I mean, it's just, there's way too many people calling in recommending that channel when there's really nothing similar about our work at all. It feels like it's promotion for that channel. Like, here, call in and use this line to promote this YouTube channel that we want people going to. We want everybody to think the pinnacle of truth research is that aliens could have done this 400 years ago. Archaics. Okay, next.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, I want to get back to the Hawaii thing. All right.
Yeah, peace.
All right, later. Yeah. Again, Hawaii is the topic here. 647, what's up?
Hey, I'm not sure what you were talking about earlier. We jumped onto the stream, but I'm guessing it's about the Hawaii post and everything. I'm like I mean, I think we all at this point know that it's like weather modification tools that they're using to like start these fires. Multiple videos have been popped up in this Hawaii case back in back in April and May when it was dry season apparently in Canada. That's when we started getting fires here when it's still springtime and everything's wet, so it doesn't really make much sense. And like, I mean, people have videos of direct energy weapons hitting these, hitting part of their property or whatever and starting a spark of fire, like a lightning bolt or whatever. And some people keep denying it and saying that it's climate change or whatever, which is complete bullshit because we know that before a couple of years ago when Brazil had the Amazon on fire, they weren't calling global warming on that. They were calling, people are trying to take over the forest to deforest it and whatever. So it's like, when are we all going to get our heads together and be on the same page? Because we all know it's bullshit. We just got to push through on it.
Yeah, I mean that's been the message here for 10 years that we're suffering for lack of knowledge. We got to get our knowledge up and see the game that's being played with us and how serious this game is. And again, population control's been the threat the whole time. I mean, from day one, I've explained those Georgia Guidestones, which came down, nice Jesuit ritual on old Bush's birthday. Again, they call for reducing the population. And again, we're getting little previews of how. Imagine if there's a day in the future, you guys, where they just unleash whatever they did to Maui all over the world in all kinds of places. And the next thing you know, it's just, all that's in the news is that just severe weather struck all these places. It was catastrophic. And what are people left to think? All of a sudden, the population's a lot less, and it happened almost overnight with severe weather all across the world. Is anyone even going to question anything? So.
And the thing with the Hawaii thing is, like, nobody, like, the USA has like one of the biggest military bases. So I mean, the amount of technology that they have on that island is incredible. The fact that they give people on the island no forethought.
Exactly, no warning with all that technology. Exactly, it was meant to kill people.
Well, the other thing too is like I've seen a couple of videos talking about like how like they're talking about these smart cities and how they're tearing down specific parts of certain places to build these smart cities.
Exactly.
So people don't really have their land to have their own property and whatnot. Because like I mean, here in Canada, like in Toronto at least, like people are getting pissed off that there's being condo buildings being built at like historical landmarks and like a whole bunch of pubs that people used to love to go to and everything. But it's the same people. It's the people that are complaining that are buying up these condos for ridiculous amounts of money, and then complaining about how these condos are going up and ruining the city. It's like, well, dude, like take a step back and realize what you're doing, what these greedy investors are doing when they're buying pre-built condos and then they're selling it for 100 and 300K plus profit. And it's like, it's like, oh, BlackRock and whatever. It's like, yeah, but there's also the President Joe that's also fucking walking all over. They're like the poorest people trying to get their foot into a first buy home or whatever. It's crazy.
It is. It is crazy.
Thanks a lot. You're awesome.
All right, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you. Take care. Yeah. I just remember when I was first getting into this research, I'm from Portland, Oregon, the city known as Rip City, and they were doing the top-off 4 drill about the largest simulation of a big blast in the history of the U.S. at the time. That was a decade ago. What's up, 514?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, this is the first time I've ever called in.
Yeah.
And I probably have bad reception.
You might need to stop the YouTube video and just talk through the phone, but you sound fine.
Okay, perfect. I just muted it, so I hope that works.
Yeah.
And thank you for that.
It does.
So, I just messaged you earlier regarding the number 89 and the police chief, John Pelletier. Not as important as what's going on with Hawaii right now. And I also made a point about possibly observation posts could be also used as directed energy weapons. And I'm in Canada right now, and there were multiple light sources that pulsated simultaneously when we had those fires here. And there was a guy that has done this work for over 30 years that even confirmed that it's not something he had ever seen before, and it was instantaneous.
So 89. just real quick, but I don't mean to interrupt you, but just about the 89, again, we were talking about the chaos code and the order out of chaos agenda. Another 89 or another chaos number is 89. That's one that comes up. And again, it was August 9th in the US, in the mainland, where they really gave us the story of Maui, even though this was going on all day. August 8th, they kind of saved it for the next day news cycle, which seems shocking in a way, as serious as this was, why it wasn't like breaking essentially as it was happening in Hawaii. I know that because I sit here and decode the news all day, and that wasn't the focus on August 8th. And I'm thinking, how wasn't that already in the news? But 8-9. So
yeah, because of the 88, and just like they did with I forget which president that he was hospitalized on the 88, and then I can't hear you.
No, you're here.
Oh, sorry. So the Queen, even last year, though, she died on 9-8, which is the reverse of 8-9.
Right.
And so even my last business on Rumble is 189 because 89 is just a very interesting number. But regarding Hawaii, I do believe that these are directed energy weapons, like high heat, high energy weapons that are being utilized. I know that sounds conspiratorial, and also something that I think has happened in the past, even in Ottawa. We've had things called great fires in Ottawa, which is now the capital of Canada, and we've had them in Miramichi, and even in the U.S., in Maine and New York, there's been great fires that were so fast and high heat, and they claim that there was just a low amount of casualties because they're saying there was a low population. But when you look at the older, maps and stuff like that, they more advanced civilizations or more people and completely wiped out. And just like what's happening here, people had to go in the Ottawa River or the water sources in order to survive this, and there was no warning signs or anything. And so I know you're not big on this, but I do believe that there's crisis actors that do play and stage and plan events. And so some of these larger events that we see, which is unfortunate, even these mass shootings, which is insane, I do believe that there are people that are playing roles and that are sort of like the ones that are in the media.
You must have missed. You must have missed my live stream here in Washington State, where we had a mass shooting in a 201 ritual one day in the news, and I went there, and there was a group of people that were just being used for photos, and I asked them if they knew any information, and one of the guys who was like the leader, it looked like they were crisis actors, is what it looked like, because the emotion wasn't real, and they were just like posing for pictures in front of the Fred Meyer about the shooting. But then, like, the leader of them, when I started to question, he was like trying to physically fight me, and then the police were like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, who are these people that they have here? But no, I wouldn't be surprised with the whole crisis actor thing either. I mean, that's a real thing. Crisis cast. Look, if you need a job out there, look on Craigslist. Crisis cast might be hiring. It might be coming to your city sooner than you think. But did you see what I said about 1964? Were you here for that part of the stream?
No,
okay.
I got home late.
All right. So here, I want to tell this to you for everyone who got here late, because I talked about at the beginning. So Maui in Gematria equals 64. And this month, Hawaii will turn 64 years old as a U.S. state. On August 24th, Hawaii turns 64. Maui equals 64. So people were making the point about how recently Mountain Dew put out a flavor called Maui Burst. Could this be a coincidence, or is this a conspiracy? So I looked, and I noticed that in 1964, the year 64, Pepsi Cola, the biggest food company in North America, bought Mountain Dew. So they've had it since 64. Hurricane Dora was the second biggest storm of the year in 64. So it was a significant storm, Dora. And this case, it's blamed on Hurricane Dora, the wind. And again, Maui's turning 64. The directed energy weapon in Gematria equals Hurricane Dora, and it equals the Pepsi Cola company, which owns Mountain Dew. They all equal the same thing. So there's even more to it. But if you guys want to go back who got here late and watch the beginning of the stream, I get into a lot of things, that and the biblical ritual that's being done here as well. Go ahead.
Yep. Oh, no, sorry. That's I just wanted to talk about that too, just because with a lot of stuff I talk about too, like even with John Pelletier being, I don't think there's any coincidences that he was also speaking at this, and he was also connected with Las Vegas. And even what happened, this is another off-topic thing, but with that woman, I believe her name was Tiffany Glover or something like that, but from that plane where she thought that she had saw something not real, I do believe that entire plane, or most people there, were actually crisis actors or
and she cut out, but
that was released. They're not showing smart angles, just looking at certain angles, and if it was had a burning,
Shoot, she's cutting out, but you guys, the strategy of having crisis actors go in front of the cameras for a tragedy like this is they'll tell the scripted narrative they're supposed to tell and not get into things that might wake people up to like, wait a minute, what's actually going on there? That they'll keep you in the realm of, oh yeah, it was a forest fire, and what the media wants you to think, whether it's where, like, again, the people who are uploading online, like the natives who are telling the story of, you know, how natives have been fighting to keep their land there, and how none of this adds up, and they've lived there their whole life. There's never been anything like this. And since when does a hurricane, which usually brings a ton of water, bring a devastating fire? And again, by having the crisis actors out there play their part, it keeps the narrative right where they want it.
Yeah, and yeah, and I do have top secret government clearance. This is stuff that I've been doing for years. You're accurate and all this stuff, which is why I actually like watching your show, because it helps my work. But even farmers here that have been farmers for generations, they have said too that with the droughts and stuff, like what's going on, it's not natural. It's never been like a case. And I talk to people all through Canada, and they are saying the same thing. And even with our soil now, these official government people saying that businesses and farmers have been doing this for many years to stop.
Shoot. You're cutting out again, 514. You cut out again.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello? There's soil that's being utilized in the U.S. and Canada for Saudi Arabia and for China, and they're using vast amount of water, and they're over-exhausting resources, and they're trying to get farmers and business people that have been here on these lands now for generations to stop using their water now and stuff like that. It blows my mind.
Huh.
It just keeps happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So many questionable
And
things.
this is stuff that's been happening in Europe now for years. Like, we're not learning from this stuff, and it's happening in Africa even like decades ago. We're just not learning. But I'm holding up your other calls. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Great call. Great observations. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate you too.
All right. Take care. Yeah, I got to hop off here, you guys. But again, if you got here late, please rewind the video and watch the beginning part, because that's where I went through the presentation of what took place in Maui. And we've just talked about these same things so many times. And again, it's another reminder of why the world needs to wake up, because they can be next. 443.
I saw on the I don't know, you probably mentioned this early on. I came in the stream late. Maui and Kill all have the exact same numbers in all four ciphers.
Yeah, Maui and Kill, absolutely. And Maui's a fire god. And again, Maui's 64, and the state's turning 64 this month. So, yeah.
Sadly, I think it's probably going to take like 2, 3, 4 more of events like this to wake the masses up. I mean, hopefully Hawaii wakes up. Hopefully people that pay attention to this shit pay attention to Hawaii and aren't already awake. Hopefully that some of this shit would cause them to wake up. But the way I see it, the way I see my world, there's a lot of people that have no clue, no interest in knowing. It's sad.
Well, it's just like how as many people are following the story about Cotton Eye Joe at the tennis game as they are the Maui story. It's just the people are like, well, it's another weather disaster. There's been a lot of them.
And you know they're going to have some shit coming up. Did you see the first Monday night game this year in the regular season? The Bills and the Jets on 9/11. It'll be their. They've been there 19 times. They played on. They played a combined 19 games on 9/11. Like 19 hijackers.
The Bills and Jets have played that many games now?
They've played a combined 19.
That's amazing.
Games.
That's amazing that they played that many times on that date.
On that date, and this will be their 110th Monday night appearance combined.
Here, let's stop for people who don't
11th.
understand the significance of this. Again, you guys, number rituals. You have to go back to the year 1968. It was the New York Jets' only Super Bowl winning season. It was also the year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code, and World Trade Center construction began in New York, and Boeing debuted their jumbo jetliners, and Bush graduated from Yale, and Skull and Bones in 2001: A Space Odyssey came out. All these things, 68 and 2001 synced up. New York Jets. Jets in New York is the story into the 110-story tower. He's making the point about 110 right now. 19 hijackers. The lead hijacker was supposedly born in 1968, Muhammad Atta. And I was just thinking about something else this year with the Jets. It'll come back to me, but go ahead.
I got you off track. I'm sorry, but I just had to mention because it's just going to pile on. You got tomorrow with the indictment, if not the next day, and then Labor Day. Who knows? And leaning right into Monday night. The the rigged NFL. You got the rigged college season. It's all starting up.
Yeah.
Start the fun and games.
Indeed.
Sadly, something more disasters are coming.
Yeah, and again, I mean, if people woke up, then we'd need it can't just be waking up. I mean, there has to be action, and we have to figure out how to disarm essentially the militaries of the world. We have to get the people worldwide to see what's going on. Worldwide, the Jesuits have infiltrated our nations. They make us play these games with each other. I mean, it's a lot to do, but it has to be done because the alternative is to be potentially the next Maui.
Yeah. That's all I had.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yep, see you.
You take care. Yeah, I mean, it's such a tall order to undo what these people have been building for a long time, but it has to be done. You know how it could be done? A code is created among the people of Earth to not participate in these government militaries anymore. I understand about, wanting to defend your people, but realize what these militaries of this Jesuit world order are and how they're used. I mean, there's somebody somewhere pulling the switch on the technology that just did Maui. 480.
Hey, Zach, I was wondering if you had deciphered the Mountain Dew Maui blow.
The Maui burst?
Yeah, Maui burst.
That's where this starts. Again, I hear it one more time. I just did a review of it like 3 minutes ago. I just told the lady who didn't know about it. Again, one more time. This month, Hawaii turns 64 years old. And in Gematria, Maui equals 64. And in 1964, PepsiCo, which is the biggest food company in North America, bought Mountain Dew. And in 1964, there was also a significant Hurricane Dora, just like how they're blaming this storm on Dora. So you have this parallel with 1964, Hawaii turning 64, this happening on 8/8. I mean, 8 times 8 is 64. It's like the chessboard, 64 spaces, 8 by 8 board. So, yeah. And here, but hold on, I'll repeat it one more time. Here's the other thing that's interesting. Hurricane Dora equals directed energy weapon equals the Pepsi-Cola company. They all have the same gematria. Do.
Yeah, I was trying to explain that it was potentially a energy weapon that caused it, and my boss kind of.
Energy and weapon both have gematria of 88 on 8/8. And yeah, the fact that your boss would shut it down, point out these things to him. Point out that weather warfare has been admitted since August 15th, 1952, and it's probably older than that. Recently, we got the worldwide example where it was mainstream headlines that China was using weather modification to make sure they had snow for the winter games that they hosted. So, okay, they can modify the winter weather. You have, again, JFK. JFK in 1961 on September 25th gave a speech about weather control and how it could benefit America. A few years later, he's dead, and Lyndon Johnson's talking about who controls the weather controls the world. By the way, that's right back around 1964. That's right back around 1964 when Lyndon Johnson gave that speech. I'm going to go back and look at what day that was. So,
yeah, do you think it correlates with like the fact that they're dropping a lot of alien stuff too? Like,
sure. Again, they just put out the movie Knowing in Hollywood with Nicolas Cage, which ends with the aliens destroying the Earth and setting it to fire right after they rescue the chosen children.
Yeah. All right, Zach. I thank you for going over that again. I appreciate it.
All right. Yeah. Appreciate it. Take care. That's why I just need to make like a 2-minute video, but it is at the beginning. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and start a TikTok channel again. I'll call it the Mad Truther or something. Just do these explanations in a minute. The minute version. A mad truth a day. I'm trying to find Lyndon Johnson's speech, but it's hard taking calls and looking stuff up. 909, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just wanting to say that all these people bringing up all these other channels should look at it as like a distraction. You're putting out the numbers. These people operate by these numbers, and they never miss their numbers because it's important to them.
That's what I mean. It's like we're the pinnacle message over here. I don't mean to gloat, but our message is the best, okay? That's just the reality of the situation. I'm proving my point every single day, calling things out before they happen. Why aren't more people just teaching this knowledge? I mean, these other channels that are always called in about, they never talk about Gematria. I check out their channel. I'm like, okay, this channel like literally has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So,
Right, exactly. And I think the only way that we will be able to get this information out is to kind of, I hate to say it, but disregard all this other stuff about aliens and all this shit that you can't prove. You know, we have to continue to push the shit you can prove and predictive. You know, I really got into.
shoot, he cut out too. Everybody's calls dropping today.
I'm always there.
You cut out. If you get we lost probably the last 20 seconds of what you said. It cut out.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying I really got into your message, or I believe that it to be true right around COVID. Everything you said about COVID was spot on. And lately I've noticed that a lot of the rituals that are happening now are spot on and exactly by the numbers that you bring up over and over.
Exactly. I mean, and that's exactly what it is, because we figured out the repetitive cycles they're working by and how they always got to pay tribute to history. It's pretty redundant what they do, and that's why if people learn to recognize it like we have, you just see right through it.
Yes. Have you noticed? I'm going to let you go real quick. I know there's people trying to call, but have you noticed that since the actors have been on strike, there hasn't been any active shooters or anything like that? Everything's been more geared towards the weather, which if the actors weren't on strike, there will probably, at this point in time, there would have probably been a lot more mass shootings, but now they're shifting it to the weather because that's something completely unpredictable. So you can keep people in a state of fear if they think, oh no, it's going to catch on fire where I live now.
Sure. That said, I do suspect that when school time comes back around, we'll have the shootings again, because they also like to do more shootings in the time of the school year to scare the children so that when they grow up and can vote, they'll give away all their rights and liberties all the easier. So
Right, yeah. And there'll probably be a lot next year right around the election, or I should say the selection and all of that. But anyway, Zach, thanks for pushing the knowledge. And to all the viewers out there, Zach is the truth. Just look at the numbers. They're always there. They never miss. All these other people talking about stuff that you cannot prove is a waste of your time.
thank you. Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Yep. Talk to you later. Bye.
503. Portland.
Wow, first time I called and I got through. Awesome.
You're my home city. You got to get through.
Thank you. So I live in Southwest Washington, and just something that I noticed with some coworkers, it was Thursday and Friday, I'd say like the 4th and 5th of August. There was a absurd amount of helicopter traffic heading from the north towards the south, flying super low, all military, just an ungodly amount of helicopters. And we went outside a couple times because it was like every 5 minutes, and they're shaking the older buildings that we're working in.
Sure.
And it was just kind of eerie. And I mentioned to a coworker the last time that I saw something with this much traffic, because I watch the skies. This was down in Oregon. I saw a bunch of traffic. This is years before. The next day was the shooting at the Umatilla Community College. And I just thought it was very eerie on Thursday and Friday. And so when this happened in Maui, it just came to mind. I thought, I wonder if that was some sort of pre-staging event with all the traffic. The other thing, I don't know if you've mentioned this, but 8/8 is actually the Lionsgate portal in astrology.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. It's basically like, it has to do with the stars aligning with Orion and like the I don't know exactly. I'm not going to do great here, but like the belt of Sirius in the sky, astrologically speaking. And so there's a lot of energy on that day with people wanting to manifest and have ceremonies and that type of thing. So the other thing about that too is we're in the time of Leo, which is a fire sign.
Right.
There's the 4 elemental signs. So those are the only things I wanted to bring up.
And here, just about rituals. Again, remember what news broke the day after Obama's birthday. Again, Obama joked at the White House Correspondents' Dinner years ago that he was Simba from The Lion King, making fun of Donald Trump, saying he really was born in Africa, and the proof was the Disney movie. Simba's 44, and The Lion King also fits in. And again, the actor who portrayed Simba died the day after Obama's birthday at age 47, like how Obama took office at age 47. Now, just 4 days after Obama's birthday, 4 days after number 44's birthday, these numbers of death in military, Hawaii's burning up, and supposedly that's where Obama's from, is Hawaii. So, yeah, there could be a string of things this year connected to Obama as well. All of these events they do, they pay tribute to their history. And again, Obama was okay. Again, you guys, sun. She's talking about how it's the sun, it's fire, it's the time of Leo, the lion, the lion's gate. The word sun equals 54, like Jesuit order. Remember where Obama was on his 54th day of being 54 years old? He was at the closing of the Agenda 2030 ceremony in New York. And again, Agenda 2030 is where all this stuff is related to: smart cities, getting rid of poverty, moving people out of like more protected areas into rural spots. So this is very prime land in Hawaii where this happened, where a lot of people at once have just been moved from that land. What comes in the future out of this? And again, right after Obama's birthday, remember what happened the other year on Obama's birthday? The last time we heard about Beirut and an explosion was the barracks bombing. And then on Barack's birthday, Beirut's blowing up from fireworks. And again, the Jesuits tried to blow up British Parliament with fireworks. But anyhow, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, no, that's really all that I had. I will leave it. I'll go so that someone else can get in. But I appreciate you taking my call. Love your work, and I work as a barber, and I try to tell every single person in my chair about
Very cool. Very cool. When I'm at the barber shop, I almost always end up talking about Gematria, so that's cool to know there's a barber out there, somebody who cuts hair, spreading the word. Thank you.
Well, yeah, because sports come up, and it's just a natural flow of conversation. So
Sure.
I do what I can. I don't get well received all the time, but I don't care.
Sure.
Keep doing it.
Sure. All right. Appreciate that, caller.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And notice how Harp and Maui overlap as well. 469.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. This is actually my first time calling.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to see a correlation of things because I kept hearing, as you were going on, I kept hearing the number 54. I kept hearing the number 58. And I kept hearing the number 89. And what was troubling me is I've been watching a lot of the people up in Maui. And one of the things that they've been saying a lot is, for some reason, that day that the fire happened, a lot of the children there, they weren't in school because they canceled school that day. But the parents still had to go to work. And so there were children just left there trying to, I guess, get out of a fire, but not really knowing what to do because they're children.
Wow.
And when you type in child sacrifice, that equals 89. And then I just also found it odd. Marcus Mariota, if you look at his starting record last year with the Falcons, it was 5-8. And then this offseason, Mariota ends up going to the Eagles. A lot of things have to do with the Eagles, equals 54 and 58. When you type in the number 46, it equals 54, 58. A lot of people have been complaining about Oprah Jeff Bezos, because their houses are in Maui as well, but somehow their houses didn't burn to the ground like everything
I heard
else.
them say that today on the news. Oprah and Oprah Winfrey both equal 58. Like Secret Society, it's another big number. But I heard them say that on the news, that Oprah's house was spared. And I thought, oh my God, man. And Oprah had that big year with Trump in 88. That in 1988, in light of the 88 fire, that was the year she asked Trump if he might be the president someday, if he'd want to be president. Trump 88.
Yeah, I just thought it was really sad. And it just made me think, because I keep seeing all these different things this year that have to do with children that they keep putting in the news. Like,
Here, I want to echo on that. I was just making the point about this the other day, you guys. Listen to what I'm about to say in light of children. We've been talking. I mean, if you've read my latest book, I've told how all this stuff's aimed at children, but I thought about it even deeper writing this Kobe book. Writing this Kobe book's been really good. But I started thinking more about the parallel with Kobe and Moses. Because again, the thing about Moses is, having this biblical parallel to Moses of the Bible, he's floated down the river by his mother because the baby has to escape because the Pharaoh is killing the children in the land. The Pharaoh's killing the children, so Moses has to be floated down the river in what they call a Moses basket now. And again, Moses Malone dies right before Kobe Bryant. Kobe's buried in Corona Del Mar. It's all a perfect number pattern, all this stuff as we've talked about. But then again, event 201 is the coronavirus pandemic simulation. And from Kobe's last birthday to the day the pandemic was declared was 201 days, right after he was buried in Corona Del Mar. And then again, there's these parallels with all throughout Black history and other history, and just 201, again, the Tuskegee experiment, 201 men in the control group. Eazy-E, the rapper, dead 201 days after his birthday after Ice Cube's Lethal Injection album. But by the way, I'm going to talk about the 50th birthday of hip-hop in New York at Yankee Stadium. I could not believe the rituals they pulled off in the first hour of that, having Schumer and Kathy Hochul come out in the first song they played, which had to be controversial. But all of this stuff, you guys, is a big, sick joke. And again, that there is a piece there with Moses in the time of Moses, how they were targeting the children for destruction. What you're calling in and saying today, again, all this stuff, you guys, Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline, the two most sued companies in the history of the world for wrongful death and injury, they just happened to merge, these two evil companies, right before COVID, and then they became super rich and were protected by the governments who said, you know, no liability, just get this out as fast as possible. We got to stop this crazy pandemic, this 99 point whatever percent survivable for most people. And again, we've heard the stories all over, all the young people that just, you know, they've been just kicking over. And Kobe was the black mamba, and black mamba snake venom, what it actually does is stop human hearts when people are bitten by black mamba snakes. But, and let's not forget, Netflix added that show Between, about a virus unleashed on a small town where the main character is a pregnant teenager. And I go on and on and on, but yeah, all of this stuff is so evil, so sick. And like I always say, it targets all of us, but it really targets the children more, especially with the mind control. And I think even like what you just said right there, I got to look more into the kids at home from school in this as well. Yeah, it's crazy.
What they were saying too is, I noticed because I watched you, and I want to talk about just you, but I watched another person too. But they say, like, just look at the articles and the stuff that is inside the apostrophes, type it in a lot. And I kept noticing, especially with the guy, like the mayor, or not the mayor, but the governor there, it was hard to find his birthday. I had to go through like 3 pages just to find his birthday. But his birthday is February 11th, so 2/11. Then when you type in Joshua, which is the full version of his first name, that's 58. When you type in his name, I think it's 54. But then there's some other 54. It's slipping my mind right now. But oh yes, he was born in 1970. So he's 53, but you could also say that he's going into his 54th year of life.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I always notice, like, all the time, like, I can remember, because I'm from Texas, obviously. I can remember when that mall shooting happened. You were saying how they always tie stuff to the governors and everything like that. And I just found that odd, too, that he's going into his 54th year of life. His name equals 58. Well, his first name, his full first name equals 58. His name equals 54. All the stuff that they keep doing with 89, 88, it's just really sad. And a lot of people still don't know. But they also do have pictures, like some of the people, because you know everyone has Ring doorbell cameras and everything like that now. They do have pictures of a red laser, apparently like from the sky, like hitting the ground, and then a flame like erupting. And I mean, before yesterday, I didn't even know what a direct energy weapon was. But seeing the whole Mountain Dew thing and the DEW and Mountain Dew, and then the people in the chat typing in do the do and how these things connect. But I just wanted to come in and talk about that because I just keep noticing they're constantly doing things with children and things like that. I just think it's despicable.
Indeed. And yeah, it must be overwhelming since this is all new to you, and it is overwhelming. But
oh wait, it's not necessarily new. If I'm being honest, I've been watching your channel since 2020, and funny enough, the first time I discovered your channel, I had got off of work, and my mom actually had picked me up, and she told me that Kobe had died, and I thought that she was like joking around. And then we got home, and I saw on CNN that he really died. And so I always remember the date. I remember January 26th like it was nothing. Because that was the first time, like, I just, like, it really had sat and thought. And, like, things didn't seem how, like, they were always broadcasted out to be. And then I watched your stuff more and more, and I saw the validity of it. But I just think it's sad because, like, when you talk to the majority of people, I think the Agent Smith syndrome hits, like, really hard. And it's so hard to convince people of just basic common sense.
Again, you got to start before you come out and say that you think that. Just say, follow this chain of thought, and again, just walk them through it. Go look up how August 15th, 1952, the Royal Air Force admitted to conducting an experiment that led to this mass flood that killed 30-some people. I mean, that's 1952. Then again, show them the JFK speech about, you know, weather control coming into focus. Now it can be a great thing for America. Then what Lyndon Johnson said about he who controls the weather controls the world. And then show them recently just the mainstream headlines about how China was modifying the weather for the winter games so that the climate was right. So again, here's evidence that there is ways and degrees of having influence on the weather. The question becomes, how far can this go? Can it be like what they just did in Maui? I mean, this is what we need to get to the bottom of. But it looks like all the evidence says that, yeah, that this looks like they do have the technological capability to do exactly what was just done to Maui for strategic purposes. Cold-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know for sure, like you say, it ties into everything. I didn't want to bring sports into it a bunch because I know how you are, like, about the sports stuff and, like, the rappers and stuff. And there's, like, a bigger goal for you and everything. But I was just wondering if you think personally, like, they do take people from certain areas and try to use them for, I guess, energy harvesting to, like, help their chances to win things.
It absolutely could be like that. It could be everything we're decoding is part of the spell that they keep creating. It requires ritual sacrifice. It requires this kind of mind control. So yeah, I mean, that's I wonder those questions.
But I just noticed that Philadelphia a lot, and then I even remember you because when I was first watching, I remember you showing LeBron like at the free throw line, and the Lakers were getting blown out by like 30 points to Philadelphia. And he just happened to be out there to shoot the free throw to score the 54th point. And it was like right after Kobe died.
And he passed Kobe in points scored. So LeBron passed Kobe in points scored on 25/1, like 251's the 54th prime score and the 54th points of the game when Kobe Bean Bryant's 54, who died the weekend before Super Bowl 54, the Joe Montana Bowl where Joe Montana's 54. Yeah, big number at the Jesuits. By the way, since you brought up the governor, I just had to look. His name has that 183. Again, that's part of if you missed that part of the video, I covered where 183 fits in with this ritual. And what I noticed is from the day that he became governor of Hawaii, from the day he took office, December 5th, to this tragedy, it was his 247th day in office while the country's 247 years old. And remember on the Illuminati's birthday, the huge 247 ritual they did in the NBA with the 76ers getting their 247th win in the upset of the Celtics? But we've seen a lot of 247 this year. So the Hawaii devastation happened on the 247th day of the governor's age, again, while the U.S. is 247 years old.
Yes. And then one more question, and then I'll let you go because I don't want to take up too much time. Do you think numbers like tie into themselves? Because I kept noticing, because I just wanted to play around with Biden a little bit, because like everyone thinks that he's like, he has dementia and like he doesn't know what he's doing and stuff.
That's all part of the act.
Noticed,
that's all part of the act. He's a Jesuit actor. That's part of the character.
Mm-hmm.
Some days he's sharp as a tack. Some days he's sharp as a tack. So yeah, I think the senile Joe's an act.
But this is my thing. Like when you type in just the number 46, that equals 46, and we all know that's the sacrifice number, and all this stuff keeps going on, and people keep dying. He's talking about gun control and things. When you type out the word 46, it equals 46 and 56. When you type in Build Back Better, which is that dumbass slogan that he keeps saying, that equals 54. And they're talking about doing an AI government city there in Maui and everything like that. Just a lot of...
Exactly. That's what we're going to witness. We're going to witness yeah, exactly. The AI computer, big tech driven rebuild of this place where a lot of money is. Yep, indeed. All right, caller. Well, I appreciate it, man. Stay strong. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you for having me, man. You have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Okay, you guys, I got to start dinner, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this stream going while I make dinner because I think there's a guy here who wouldn't mind filibustering. I'm going to take the phone number down because I don't have the number to reach in. But hey, Rich, I saw you just came on the stream, and do you mind holding down the line for?
Yeah, no problem. Can I tell you one little thing before you go make dinner?
Sure.
20 seconds.
Sure.
Shout out to Mike Barner. He's out there, part of the team. Do you happen to remember, and this isn't off topic, don't worry. Do you happen to remember who the police chief of Las Vegas was during the shootings?
I can't remember that.
Joe Lombardo.
Okay.
Looks like he got and he was on TV. He was one of the figureheads for the shooting. Guess he got a promotion because now he's the police chief of Maui.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Well, it's another one of those situations where we have like the Uvalde shooting going with Sandy Hook. It was the same teacher that died. If you put their picture next to each other, they're the exact same person. So just a little more proof, but I guess wherever Joe Lombardi or whatever his name is, wherever he goes, follows destruction.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look more into that angle too. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to make dinner. I'll try to come back as quick as possible. But you know a lot of weather warfare things over the years, so I'll just let you talk some more about weather. Do you want me to put something up in the background while you're talking?
Yeah, I mean, Zach, I've forgotten more than I've learned from you. That's
Well, I
for
know you're
sure.
gonna talk about paradise because that's always a big point for you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll put that up.
Go
I'll put up the paradise fires while you talk about it. All right,
Got me on the spot.
I'll be back as quick as I can. You got the floor.
All right.
All right, you guys. Richard Quinn, he comes out and pounds pavement. You know, Richard. Him and I always butt heads, but what I love about Richard is he will not stop. He is getting gematria out there. Even if
I think you misunderstand me in situations sometimes. We have different perspectives, Zach.
All right, but you got the floor. I know you'll do a good job, and then I'll be back as quick as I can.
Well, let me at least go to the chat here and see who's talking. Hey, hello, everybody. I'm not on camera. It's dark in my room, so my light bulbs just went out. So all I have is a lamp anyways, so I'm not going to be on camera right now. Guys, there's not too much for me to really say. I just, I watch Zach's videos. I support the work like we all do. And we just need to get out in our own communities, man. I mean, that's the only message you're going to get from me. I mean, even if 5-10 people in each city, we're outside educating people, talking about current events, talking about past events. and the best way to show people is to show people the past rituals. I call them riddles. You can call them riddles. You can call them rituals. But that's how you get people to the channel. I mean, you can't just depend on sharing links, because I just shared this video and I usually get 30, 50, 70 likes on my posts if I type things. But if I share a video and that, like, 3 people have saw it in the last hour, that's it. So we got to get out and just do more, man. And I was hoping we could go to September 11th this year, but that don't look like it's happening. So, but we don't have to go to New York on September 11th. You can go into your own hometown. So, yeah, shout out, John. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Rick James, what's up, buddy? But Zach's posted my in the link of the description in the past. I don't know if it's still up there. Pounding Pavement 2021 at gmail.com. That's how you reach me. I mean, I have the same blueprint I have for years. I'm not going to change what I do. I feel we're in t-shirts. We're advertising the past rituals to people. I mean, like, I take an Uber to work, and the Uber driver always likes to talk. Well, I'm going to talk to him about 9/11 and show him the truth of it. I'm going to talk to him about the Maui fires, the California fires, and then now all of a sudden, now they want to subscribe to this channel. So the blueprint's the same. We just have to fill the city streets up with us, and maybe walk into some mayor's offices, government offices, and confront them, show them that we know what's going on. Now, sure, if I do that in Fort Wayne, my town, and I'm the only one that does it, nothing will happen. But imagine if, in all 50 states one day, every government office got visited by people like us, confronting them for ritualism. It's gonna turn a couple heads. That might cause, some commotion that we need. So we can't just sit here. I'm gonna read a few of the comments because I don't know what all to say here. New York City Informer, you're right. Some people don't even want to see this stuff. I have personal best friends of mine that I can't even bring it up around, and I do respect it. I mean, it sucks, but that's just a few people. There's billions of people out there. And when we go pound pavement, we need to grow crowds. That's key. If we don't grow crowds, then what's the point? Like when we went to New York, we did a beautiful job. But the million people walking down the street just kept walking. We needed to grab their attention and have a crowd of 50, and then a crowd of 100, and a crowd of 200. As the crowd grows, now you might get 500 people walking with you to the mayor's office. It's all in our approach too. So just reading a couple comments here. Gematria32 says, Rich, talk about the show you found. Gematria. I'm a little confused. What show did I find? Remind me, please. And I also learned from somebody in the comments earlier that Maui's legislation established 118 years ago. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, thank you, Nathan. Thank you. I said Pounding Pavement 2021. It's Pounding Pavement 2022. And guys, I do get emails from time to time, and a lot of times it's spam, but if you email me, you're gonna get good information. I'm gonna give you a list of 13 riddles that I've typed out. I've said this a million times and nobody uses them, but I have Sandy Spoons all typed out. I have the California fires all typed out. 9/11. the Cubs World Series, like 5 or 6 Super Bowls. It's all typed out. All you got to do is have your friend or your neighbor read it, and now they can clearly see what's going on. So when you email me, get the list of riddles, get a t-shirt mailed to you. I mean, they're cheap. It's not like I'm making money off of them. When you go to the grocery store, wear your Gematria Effect News shirt with a 9/11 riddle on the back. People are reading that when they're standing behind you. You know what I mean? You're planting seeds that way. Hey Colbert, we don't really know or care who's winning the Super Bowl this year. If you're here for that, I mean, what good's your money when we're all on fire anyway, man? I mean, we need different types of people in here, man. I need people that want to go out on the corner and advertise the truth of 9/11 and direct people to this channel for growth, not who cares who's winning the Super Bowl next year. No offense to you, but I mean, we go through this every day. Shout out to Crack Their Code, always has good information. Lee Howard, you didn't miss Richard Quinn's call in. I'm right here. Let me see if I'm even still on here. Yep, I'm here. But yeah, all I really have is the live chat, guys, till Zach returns. Glad to hear you're pounding pavement every day. Truth Matters 2022 or 222. Feel free to get yourself a shirt for $20 plus shipping. Kind of stands out in traffic pretty good. Am I loud and clear, Nathan? I appreciate that. What's happening, Gold Eagle 99? I don't think people. I've been promoting the shirts for about 4 or 5 years, and there has been a couple hundred people that have gotten one, and I just don't think people. I think people underestimate the importance of them. Really, I mean, a T-shirt is just it's just the gold and the red stick out. We put a message on the back that really makes people think. It could be a 9/11. It could be anything you want. It could be an Event 201 theme. A T-shirt's going to draw people to this channel. It's going to make them ask you questions. I mean, what do you do if you want to promote Mountain Dew? You wear a Mountain Dew shirt, right? You know what I mean? You want to promote Gematria Effect News, put a shirt on. I got like 5 of them. I could wear one every day if I want. Shout out then, Truth Matters. Maybe I'll buy one of yours. Maybe we can trade. Hit me up, Pounding Pavement 2022, gmail.com. Of course, it could be an Epstein riddle, old wizard. It could be anything you want. But the most important thing is you're going to open their eyes with the Epstein comment on the back of your shirt. And then on the front, it tells them where to go to learn more. I can't name the teacher that looks alike, but I have a post on it, All Comedy. I posted it. Look me up, Richard Quinn, on Facebook, send a friend request, and you got to probably scroll way down. I can actually look it up on Google, I think. Look up Sandy Hook teacher that died, and then look up Uvalde teacher that died, and you're going to see it's the same exact person. There's no doubt about it. I mean, not to mention the Uvalde, I don't want to get off track, but the Uvalde teacher's husband So was a cop that did police school drills. I mean, come on, man. You can go back and see all Zach's work, and you can look mine up on that couldn't be more obvious. I mean, what else was there? The 19 died and 2 kids, 192, and it was Governor Abbott's 192nd day of his age. And what was the Netflix show called about school shootings? 19-2. I mean, this is just par for the course, just like every day. Yep. Just do more, guys. It's all we can do. We can't just sit on here and teach each other. You know what I mean? Yeah, Uvalde was fake, of course. I mean, it has to be. But when one of the main problems that all of you will say is, yeah, I try to wake my friends and family up, and they just don't believe, or they're not interested, and that's on them. But what's on us is to approach it correctly and correctly show them. We have to dumb ourselves down to their level sometimes, and you got to paint a picture. So our approach is very important in showing, like, I mean, yeah, one of Zach's videos should be, I mean, the first 5 minutes of any video is usually enough evidence, but you just have to look how you show them. You can't just show them like this word equals this word, and they're just now going to be hooked. I always start off with 9/11, and then, a couple Super Bowls, but sadly, I've shown people that actually get it. And then after that, they don't follow up. They're just not interested anymore. So I guess we're just a distracted world, with the people just have priorities, I guess. And getting ran over and steamrolled, I guess, isn't on top of their list of a problem. So shout out to Charmed One for all of her hard work. It's not easy being a busy mod like she is, and posting and pasting everywhere. So shout out to her. And if I'm sitting here just plugging people, I mean, shout out to Yeah Right the Matrix, man. Go check out his channels as well. He's I just look at his as an inspiration. And yeah, Charmed One, I know you were mad at me, when Zach gets mad at me sometimes. And I just want you to know that it's just not like that. And we're all on the same team. I'm a vindictive person sometimes, so if I feel wronged, I've I get back sometimes. You know what I mean? But it's nothing that you or him wouldn't do either. So, but just let the past go. I learned from my mistakes, and other people learn from their mistakes too. But shout out to Marty McSuperfly. Yeah, if you get past the letter C with the sheeple. Yeah, you just have to show them little bits at a time, and paint the picture for them. Shout out to Leslie as well. You followed me and Zach for a long time, and always appreciate seeing your posts and comments. It's been a rough year for me, guys. Right now I'm getting over an abdominal infection that comes with having kidney failure. You get this kind of stuff. So I've been out of work a couple of weeks, and I haven't been able to pound any pavement this summer. And I just know I always come back strong though. So Just sitting here in the lab, just sitting here thinking of what I'll do next. Yep. Shout out, Edward. I appreciate that. The problem is I have a perfect blueprint, Edward. But if I got 6 people to do it, I'd be thrilled. And it's just still not enough. You know what I mean? I need 2,000 people to start doing simultaneously the same thing. The only way my perfect plan will work is if literally thousands of people all did the same thing. That's key. I can't have 100 people go out there and like this guy's showing this and this guy's showing this person's showing this person's showing Gematria, this person's showing Trump. It's a blueprint, so it needs to be done in order. It needs to be done, where we're all simultaneously doing the same thing. That's a tall order, man. That's a tall order. It's frustrating too. So, Edward, I don't know screen names. You pounded pavement with me. Where were we, buddy? Man, my apologies. If I see your face, I probably recognize you. Thank you, Marcus. I hope I get better too. I mean, I can't take for granted that I will. I mean, I always do, but I just hope to get on the kidney transplant list in January and I could overcome all this. Where did we pound pavement, Edward? I need to see your face so I know who you are. Alexa, I can't take herbs to help my kidneys because I had stage 5 renal kidney failure, which means they were done. And they removed them a few years back. So I have 0 kidneys. But I do appreciate the gesture on that. I just do at home dialysis. That's my kidney. But I can always take herbs, and I do sometimes for certain things, I mean. And yeah, Leslie's talking about Canada. I showed this to Zach, and he looked into it. He never made a video on it. The same place that was burning in Canada is coincidentally building a railway. Well, now when you look at where the California fires were, they've already got a railway being built there too. So everywhere there's fires, they're building a railway. Just kind of shows what they do. They fearmonger, destroy, coordinate the ritual, then let the public know, hey, we're building a railway. Chris, you asked if I read the chat. I mean, I am right now. I just can't see every comment at once. So let me see what you said, okay? Oh, I see you. Chris, I really appreciate you saying that. And when people in my life tell me they'd donate a kidney to me, they do bring a tear to my eye. But the thing is I wouldn't want I don't want to take someone's kidney. I'd rather have someone not around anymore. And it'll be someone who hasn't gotten a COVID vaccine. That's for sure. And so thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. Well, I don't know. You said Hawaii rail is rigged. I don't know about any railway in Hawaii, so should go ahead and shed the light for us, Thank you, Antonicus. I appreciate that. But yeah, Chris, I'd rather get someone's kidney that's not around anymore. I mean, what if you give me your first start? We have to match. That's first and foremost. Second, I have to be on the list in January. And what if you give me your kidney and now you have something go wrong and now you're on dialysis every day? I wouldn't want to live with that. Just reading a couple more comments. Zach should be back in a few. Yeah, InfoWars will probably deny direct energy weapons. Yeah, I mean, and here's what I just don't understand. I know we all know, but you got your average Joe out here. Oh, you must be a fan of InfoWars. Like, actually, no, we're not. We expose them. InfoWars being on television and getting millions of views and being popular proves that it's bullshit, because that's the equivalent of them letting us on TV. You know what I mean? Can you imagine Zach's show being on NBC? That would never happen, right? So real truth gets squashed. So InfoWars being on TV and everything just proves that that's a sham. Yeah, Alex Jones gave you enough truth to get the gist and just move past him. Yeah, they show half truths. That's about it. Just keeping people going down that rabbit hole. Marcus, I want to answer that question. Here's the biggest part. Marcus asks, what ways do you think people would resonate more with the information regarding gematria? Here's what we have to do. And I said this a million times. Don't emphasize gematria itself. Okay? That's first and foremost, because now you're confusing them. Show the rituals. Show, okay, if I tell you 9/11 from my own words that I typed out, there is a couple things of gematria within that paragraph, but I'm showing the rituals. There's more than gematria. There's numerology. There's dates on the calendar. There's days remaining in the year. There's birthdays. And then when that stuff all matches with the gematria, that's where you're showing a person who doesn't know. So don't emphasize gematria. Emphasize the rituals. Flight AA-11 crashed in the 11th state on the 11th day into the buildings portrayed as a massive 11. Where's the gematria right there? Trump took office when the flag was 239 years old. The flag was sewn at 239 Arch Street in Philadelphia. Colin Kaepernick started kneeling on the 239th day of the year. Trump attacked the NFL on 23/9. Where's the gematria there? Is that clear? So not everything's gematria, you know. Contact me, poundingpavement2022@gmail.com. I'll send you the Colin Kaepernick ritual where there really is no gematria. Well, actually, there is.
Hold on,
Kaepernick.
I'm not done yet, Rich. I got to interrupt. But again, what Richard said about Trump and 239, I'm listening in the other room while I'm cooking. But don't forget to point out that Trump's birthday is the flag's birthday, right? That's the other key piece with Trump and the
146. Colin Kaepernick equals 146. We're just getting into that one, brother.
Well, I think start with that, right? Because that shows the connection already between Trump and the flag. So I think that's
absolutely.
And then all the 239s, and then you can eventually get into the gematria and why the Super Bowl's in Minnesota and how all that fits in. I mean, there was even that story about his doctor doing a physical and he weighed 239 pounds around that time.
Yes, I actually include that. Yep.
But like you said, don't start with the gematria. I agree. Show the number pattern and then show how gematria makes the number pattern significant, just like the Maui thing. Hawaii turned 64 years old this month as a U.S. state.
Yeah.
Again, in 1964, Hurricane Dora. and this thing with direct energy weapons, the parallel with Mountain Dew and Pepsi, this huge food company. Because again, all this, what they're showing here is you have to think of Pepsi's in the food business, and we know crazy stuff like that derecho that went through the Midwest and wiped out all that corn in Iowa and everywhere else, the weird land hurricane. Again, just how this technology can impact our lives, how it can wipe out our hometown overnight, our food supply. This plan to depopulate, to save the world from carbon emissions. I mean, you can bring all this together, but then you can show them. And oh, by the way, that whole thing about 64 years old this month and 1964, in Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, Maui equals 64.
That's crazy.
You can show how they just did the same thing to Gaza the other year, right before Israel's 73rd birthday. They bombed the hell out of Gaza, and Gaza's 73. I mean, there's so many examples, but I'll finish dinner and then I'll come back.
Yeah, and what other flavors of Mountain Dew are there? Bahama Blast. What's getting burned down next here? You know what I mean? We might be able to predict the next direct energy weapon false flag just by knowing the flavors of the Mountain Dew. Let me go back to the chat here, because that's kind of my foundation of saying things based on what the other people are saying. Okay, Edward, we pounded pavement in New York, and I apologize that I don't know you by your screen name. And thanks for coming out. Where'd you come from? Mountain Dew Code Red. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Baja Blast. Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, Marty, you're right. You can go straight to 74 and show examples like that. Absolutely. You know. But I just think that people's biggest mistake is trying to show them the gematria right away, like right off the bat, where, Zach just explained it, and he explained it well. Just you gotta just show the rituals, and take notes, write it down. When you watch one of Zach's videos and you only need the first 5 minutes, usually like this video, within 5 minutes, I was like, yep, I could have turned this thing off and I got it. That's what you show people, right? Write those down, and then you can develop your own paragraph, your own post, and do a report on it and show people, Baja California. Yep. That's definitely a target. Directed energy weapon equals 108. Well, that looks like October 8th. And we know we had that famous Chicago fire on 10/8. So absolutely, that's October 8th is a date that we could see one of these massive fires again. And it's a couple months from now. So, they like to space things out and make it look good. They can't just have a new fire every day, that the idiots out there might actually pick up on it. Yeah, there are lots of Mountain Dews. Mountain Dew Frostbite. That's interesting. But yeah, guys, I've said pretty much all you're gonna get from me every time. Try to do more. Try to do the same things. Be consistent. I'm a broken record, as Zach has said before. But consistency is what gets you where you want to be in life. You can't achieve things without consistency. Oh, okay. I have a short fuse. Okay, I'll go ahead now. I'll go ahead and explain on that. I don't think I have a short fuse. Not at all. And actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a couple of them. I don't know if it's on this channel or not. I actually broke that down. So, should I go to New York and everything's rainbows and butterflies, or should I actually have went into the mayor's office with my legs propped up on his desk? If you want to call that a short fuse, I mean, that's your opinion. But I've endured a lot too. Of course, Zach's endured a lot. Look what he's done for 10 years, getting trolled, getting shut down. He has the right to be frustrated, but do I not also? Do you not also? Of course I can get frustrated. That doesn't mean I'm not on the team. That doesn't mean I have a short fuse. If you're on my team and you question something I do or say, ask me. Talk to me. Don't just, exile me and shut me out. Ask me why I had a short fuse there, man. We're at war. You think I went to New York for fun? And I explained my part already. We don't got to get back all up into it. But yeah, it seems like I shouldn't be mad that the guy called me white devil, whispering it in my ear twice. But no, I think I should have, because the part you don't understand is the same guy was standing up there on the microphone saying we're supposed to pay for our forefathers what they did to them. Why do I have to pay for what these forefathers did? Those mother effers are not my forefathers. I'm exposing those forefathers. And I wanted them to understand that. So that's that. Call me having a short fuse. I call it something different. I just do what I think's right at the time. So it's not a short fuse. And I'm not supposed to be happy about any of this, and neither should any of you. So,
Yeah, that's for sure. Just about other potential dates for weather warfare. We know every year to circle the 52 dates, and year after year on the 52 date numerology, you see trouble. Funny enough, Hawaii's birthday this month, August 21st, 2023, is a date with 52 numerology, 8 plus 21 plus 23. The reason we circle the 52 dates is because in Gematria, here, let me show you this. This whole code of letters and numbers goes back to Babylon. The Babylonian god that has to do with flooding, and it's Enlil, which is 52. And notice how Earth is 52 and flood's 52. And look at all three of those words, flood, Earth, Enlil. They're the exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers, and Earth and Enlil are the exact same in all 4. Remember last year, or a few years back, 29 months earlier, on March 8th, a date that can be written 8-3, a date with 52 numerology that year. You had the worst flooding in Hawaii in 25 years. But where did I just go with that calendar? Okay, just dates to circle. So August 21st has 52 date numerology. September actually, what day will it be? It'll be September 20th, 32 has it. 52 date numerology. October 19th has it. October 19th. You guys were talking about October 8th too with the directed energy weapons. November 18th. Ooh, that's the 322nd day of the year. California's been getting it at that time of year. November 18th in November. December 17th, the Pope's birthday. And Pope's also 52, like the 52-week calendar year for the Pope. And again, this crazy weather stuff's been going into the winter months in places like California. So the reason there's less 52 dates is just because of the bigger year. It makes it so a lot of the months don't have one at the beginning. But yeah. Anyhow, it's dinner time over here. Rich, thanks for getting out a message and keeping the stream going.
yeah.
But yeah, you guys, we'll be back to talk more. It's dinner time over here. Sweet lady's home. And again, sorry to the people of Maui. And again, I just wish this knowledge had made it out there in the way it should have long before, because this weather warfare thing people have to wake up to. Again, if you don't know what Agenda 21 is, Agenda 2030, you need to look into these things. You need to look in the history of weather control, weather warfare, and see how it's all coming together. And truly one big sick joke. I mean, a joke that's tied in with, and again, with the population control, you guys, I think we knew as young children in grade school that Mountain Dew wasn't good for you. A lot of people go into an early grave because of things like Mountain Dew. That's not a joke either. So anyway, any closing words, Rich, before we hop off?
I think I pretty much said everything. I appreciate you letting me talk to the chat and say some of my thoughts that I usually type that not everybody sees. So it felt good.
Sure.
I appreciate
Sure.
it.
Yeah, no problem. Well, feel better, Rich. I heard you say you're not doing that well, but I know
We're
you're a
getting
tough guy.
there.
You'll persevere.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, you guys. Till next time, True Seekers. Thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. And yeah, contact Rich, get a shirt. Those shirts, they do pop. I'll wear mine tomorrow night for TFR, or in 2 nights, actually. All right.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Till next time, everybody.